They're all vinyl people.
They're all albinos?
No, vinyl people.
Vinyl people, yes. We are live now. That's our opening.
They're not albino. Well, I don't mind if they are. I mean,
Hey, everyone. Albinos and everyone else.
welcome.
I am Sleepyreader, aka Damien, and I have my good friend David over here. What does it say? Garage Geek, Dutiful Dave. Oh, you got an alliterative name now.
I just added that because in the stream I was in yesterday, one of the people kept calling me Mark, and I didn't have my actual name, so I just decided to add my name there in case.
He called you Mark?
Yeah, over and over, and I didn't really catch on to it. And the other people in the stream were like, "Oh, he's Dave," and I wasn't really paying attention to it, but yeah, I became Mark.
So this is just a free-for-all, show your stuff. We'll just go back and forth. I drag David into this, or Dutiful Dave into this. I feel like I need an alliterative Stanley-like name.
Dastardly Damien.
Dastardly Damien. I was going to say dumbfounded Damien.
Despicable Damien. I like it. Despicable Damien.
Despicable Damien. Okay. You can shorten it to Despicable D, and I'll sound like a rapper.
Dirty D.
Dirty D. Done dirt cheap.
Yeah.
So how was your week? You survived another week as a school teacher, and you only have 2 more to go for the year.
Thank goodness. No, I didn't even explain what happened. Like, I had one of the worst parent conferences I've ever had, and then I had another incident in the class. And it's just some of the things I can't say because I fear I would get fired, right?
Right. Yeah, you got to
investigate.
Only talk about those in private with friends.
Yeah. So I don't even mention a lot of what happens, but yeah, it was an interesting week. What about yours?
Very, very dull. Delirious, Damien.
I like it.
And hello to Chris, Chaos and Comics. Hello to Nocturnal Miss So. And hello to Comic Crack, if he's still there. Scott said he would come back. I don't know if he's back yet. So anyway, greetings to everyone who's joined us. We have 4 viewers at the moment. So my week was very dull. I volunteered at the school to talk with new parents who might want to know more about the school. And what else did I do? I hung out with Travis, the Comics with Bueller guy, who's on the road in his van. Only he's not because his dad's sick. But he has a new cover.
Hung out with him?
Sorry?
You physically hung out with him or online?
Yeah. So he's in the same physical vicinity. So we hung out at a coffee shop, and he showed me he has this tiny little drone, which will hover around him and circle him or follow him as he's walking. And film him.
Cool.
And film him while doing it. And it has software
in the garage.
Right. It has software that removes the noise of the fans of the whirling blades.
That's cool.
And so he is, because of his father's health, he hasn't been traveling, but he's planning to do one of those van life channels along with his comic book channel. So I guess eventually we'll get to see him using this cool hovering camera.
Yeah, I used to watch him all of his videos, and for some reason my stream or my feed completely changed, and they don't put everybody in that they used to. And
YouTube's highly unreliable, and they keep changing their algorithm, so different things happen.
And so when you mention him, I'm like, gosh, I haven't seen one of his videos in so long. And I always enjoyed, he puts a lot of work into his videos, like showing every one of the comics and the covers, and like that was a lot of work.
Yeah, he does that, and he used to do this Monday morning show with Bullseye Bob. That was really great, but since he hit the road, he hasn't done that. But anyway, let's see. So my week was very unexciting.
Those are the best weeks, to be honest.
But I'm retired, so it's all about unexcitement. However, I got a big box in the mail.
From
and
me.
It was from Dutiful Dave. And the box has it went into limbo because you had my wrong address.
Don't tell everyone what an idiot I am. Like I said,
it was months ago
where
that you
is this
originally
box?
packaged this. It was months ago you originally packaged this box, right? And
And
we had talked about what you were sending me because I sent you some hardbacks that I didn't need anymore, and you were sending me stuff you didn't need anymore. But then I've completely forgotten what it was because it's been so long.
Yeah.
So,
I put the wrong address.
Yeah, it happens. You know what? Today I have this little office, and I went to the office to get something to hook up to my computer, and I forgot to bring the office keys, and I had to drive back home, and I didn't have any time to go back to the office. So, the brain doesn't always work right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I refuse to believe it's a matter of old age. Hey, Naman. Hello, sleepy and guest. Yes, my guest is Garage Geek. You know what? I haven't linked your channel in the description. I forgot to do that when I set this up, but after the stream, I'll put a link to your channel. But you guys could also just search for Garage Geek.
There's actually a bunch of Garage Geeks, but I am the Garage Geek to rule them all.
Yes. In your icon, your beard is much smaller, so people have to look for a smaller beard.
Oh, that's true.
Hello, Daryl D. He just put out this great video about Prince bootleg albums.
I love Prince. Oh my gosh.
I remember hearing in the 80s about bootleg albums from Prince that everyone was crazy about, but I never had any. And I never thought in the age of internet to start looking for them, but now I'm sort of tempted.
There was a shop. It was about 30 minutes from my house, and they had they bootlegs. It was really interesting to go there, and there was those white kind of like white album sleeves, and they would just like paste this kind of like paper on it. Do you know what I mean? That was like something printed out, and then like they would write who the band was or whatever. Like I still remember those.
Yeah, I never got them back in the day, or at least not more than once or twice. But now
I never bought any.
Like to look into it.
Yeah.
So, Daryl, you should check out Garage Geek because he does a lot of vinyl stuff, books and comics. I think all stuff you'd be into.
I'm definitely going to be checking out Daryl's channel after this. I'm going to watch that Prince video for sure.
Yeah, he's on a quest to collect everything that ever had Richard Corbin in it.
Wow. He must be very happy about the Den reprints then.
I don't know. He might have it all original and not want the reprints. I'm not sure.
That's true. With the one thing that's nice about
thank you, Naman. Sorry, go ahead.
The colors pop in those, and
Naman put out a link. I'm not sure for whose channel. Okay, well, I'm going to show a few of the comics I just pulled out of the box from David, from Dutiful Dave.
Yes, I've got this stack to show. I'm trying not to show
so I'll show about 10 comics, then you show 10, and we can go back and forth, and you can show books, you can show vinyl, anything.
Yeah, I have comics and books.
So we got, I'll make myself large for a second.
Yeah, go ahead.
We got Batman number 282 from the 30-cent era. It's an Ernie Chan or Ernie Chua cover. I'm not sure who would be on the inside of this one. Oh, I'm excited for this. Treasure Island Classics Illustrated.
Long John
Did you have extras of these, Dave, or did you just decide?
Yeah, these were all doubles. Because on Whatnot, I often get things in lots, or I forget that I bought it.
Right.
That one was an eBay lot.
Mylar, even.
Yeah, a bunch of them I put in Mylar. You'll see. Some of them I didn't have time to.
But it has an ad for Long John Silver's seafood shop.
They probably gave that out at the restaurant.
You're right. Although they sold it. It says $1.95, but $1 to be donated to national literacy programs.
That's pretty cool.
I hadn't thought of that. Yeah, so this is like it's not a giveaway, but it is a promotional comic, and which some people are big in collecting, like my friend Roger. Solve the Mystery of Treasure Island. See inside back cover for details.
Yeah.
So this is not your everyday Classics Illustrated. That's fascinating. These are going to be very random, I guess. Let's see.
Yeah, they're random.
Yeah, that's fine. I love random. From the 25-cent era, Iron Fist #3.
Oh gosh, I love it.
That will probably be John Byrne inside.
I don't think that's Byrne yet.
Oh, okay. The cover's by Keith Pollard. It's a very good cover. I like Keith Pollard covers. And I didn't know till recently Keith Pollard was one of the African-American comic book artists at Marvel back then.
Oh, I didn't know that either.
People don't realize there were a number of African-American comic book artists in the 70s, but it wasn't publicized or anything.
Daryl D just subscribed to my channel. Yay. I got a notification.
Thank you, right. Let's see. Oh, yeah. So that was a link for Garage Geek, and Daryl has now subbed. You and Daryl could have a beautiful relationship here.
Yeah. I'm almost at 600. I'm like, now I think I'm 4 away. It's been forever. I've been in 590 limbo forever.
Random is the best way to go. Thank you so much, Naman, for posting. There's the Garage Geek. So very cool. And Naman, if you want to post anything else, go ahead. I can't make people give people a wrench unless I go out of this program. But anyway, here's Superman 263. I'm pretty much trying to collect all Superman from the Bronze Age. I mean, from the Silver Age and the early Bronze Age.
Yeah, because that one's in Mylar. There's the glare is really
glare,
yeah.
But it's a very cool cover. And it has it's got a photo background, which is very unusual back then.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's Neil Adams, but I can't be 100%.
Is there a signature near the foot? No, that's not a signature.
No, there's a shadow that looks like a signature, but it's not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Adams did not usually sign his covers, but I think that's him. And this one looks like it's a Keith Pollard again, an Avengers.
Yeah.
From the 35-cent period, 179.
Yeah, I got it on Whatnot. I got like an Avengers run. Someone was selling them all, and so I just grabbed them all.
If there's a great Avengers run where Steve Englehart was the writer.
Can you show the back of that one?
Higher.
Go ahead and show the back of that one for a second. The back.
Torpedo Comics.
So if you're familiar with Whatnot, that's one of the sellers.
So this is his own backing board, right?
No, it's a paper that goes on the backing board. I think it's a paper.
It's a second backing board. It's a thinner one.
It's pretty cool. They put that in everything that they sell. I really
is he the one you're getting very cheap comics from?
There's a bunch of sellers, but you could also say he's one of the ones that's put me in debt.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you need to take a break from Whatnot.
I know. I say that
even though you're spending money to save money because you're getting such great deals. There always has to be limits.
I'm really trying to get all of those. I love Luke Cage.
I guess it's considered way too outdated, but I love the old Luke Cage costume, and I hate that they don't dress him.
That guy is huge, and why does he need pumps? Look at him.
That's a good point. I didn't even notice that. It's just the fashion of the day. The 70s. It was the crazy time. Rich Buckler cover on the Flash. The Flash is something I've just recently started trying to collect. So I'm
a lot of them are very expensive.
Yeah, and that's another awesome cover.
Yeah,
modern artists are too lazy to draw multiple versions of the Flash running forward, but look at all the different versions here.
There's about 8.
Working hard.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah,
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Okay, Comic Book Worm says, love the Bronze Age books. Yes, I do too. Bronze and silver are my favorites, but I collect it all. So let's shift over to you for, I don't know, 5 to 10 comics.
All right, I grabbed
4 books.
5.
You also have books.
Here we go. Oh, I've got a whole, like, I don't know. Thank you for showing my hairline. So this was a comic that I was so happy to get because I love the reprint comics, and this is the first issue. So I was
Marvel double feature, right?
Yeah.
Is that what it says? Yeah.
Yeah, Captain America and Iron Man.
And it looks like a Kirby cover.
Yeah. And just to get the first issue in that series, I was so happy about. Okay, here is an Archie, a 12-cent Archie. And I love it because of the aliens on the cover.
That is an awesome cover.
Yeah. I mean,
you've been buying a lot of Archie, right?
What?
Have you been buying a lot of Archie? I've been looking forward to seeing them.
Yes. I usually don't
think you've got to show them all on your channel.
I don't, because I'm so embarrassed of everything that I'm buying on Whatnot. I stopped showing them. It's like,
well, really here you're among the pure comic book addicts. We all understand.
So yeah, Archie, that one is number 124, a 12-center.
That's an awesome cover. I really like that.
Here we have a 15-center Action Comics number 392, and this is hilarious. Like, Superman and Batman are, like, Batman's putting him down because his son is a flop. It's hilarious, like a literal flop. The shame of the super son. Oh my god. So yeah, look, Superman, my son is a diving whiz. He could compete in the Olympics. And then mine's a flop. Yeah, but look at that cool art. That is gorgeous.
Well, back in the Silver Age, Jack Kirby criticized, he says, our Marvel comics show on the covers show the heroes succeeding or achieving, and the DC ones show them ashamed or failing or something bad.
But they'll probably succeed in the end. That's the whole point.
Well, of course they will.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's part of the growth.
But that was, in his mind, one of the reasons why Marvel was becoming more popular than DC, because of the covers.
Okay, so we got another DC, because I love this stuff. So this is Superman's Girlfriend Lois Lane, number 90. It's a 12-center. Oh yeah, all these vinyl over here, like I show them in my other video. They're so cool. I tried to collect these older vinyls that nobody really wants.
Do you have to buy special shelves designed for displaying vinyl, or
this is IKEA K-Lax, I think they're called. Almost
so they didn't know it was
vinyl. Yeah, almost every vinyl person that you'll watch has those shelves. Like they're very common, like they fit. I don't know if I can show you. So let me pull these out. Like, can you see? Like they fit.
Oh, cool. So you can put a ton of records in and then put some in the front for display.
Yeah, it's not supposed to be like that, but I have to. Ooh, I'm dropping comics.
And do you change your display very often?
I do all the time, and then I try to do themes. But I'm in the process of rearranging my room. If you watch my channel, you know that. So I'm really just trying to organize my shelves. At the end of that process, I will do the minutiae where I will, like sometimes I put all of these, or sometimes I'll put faces all going one direction, and on the shelf below they're going another. For example, this is pointing this way and he's pointing that way. So yeah, I do all that stupid stuff. But hey, that's the fun of collecting, right? You have you just
exactly, yeah.
For me, it's display. So let me just tell your viewers, like what I do is I collect, but I try to get everything as cheap as possible. I'm not one of these collectors who will spend a ton for something. So I'm always looking for the bargain. Like all these comics that I bought, I've gotten very cheap on Whatnot. And when you're patient, you will get deals, and you just have to learn how to work Whatnot. Also, when I go to the record stores, I'm always going through like the dollar bins or whatever to find this. And I think these are treasures. These are things that nobody else wants. For me, that's gold.
Yeah.
So,
well, if anyone doesn't sub to Naman, a comic book worm, should definitely check him out. I mean, he doesn't focus on vinyl, but he, like he says, he collects records too.
Check it out.
He just is a cool guy to make sure you sub.
I've seen some of his videos, and yeah, they're always nice. So I need to catch up on.
I'm even in one or two of them.
Oh, I gotta find those for sure. So
one of his most recent travel ones.
As I was introducing this one, I love it. So God, that glare. So this is Superman's girlfriend Lois Lane, a 12 center, number 90. And Superman missed the ball. He was like, "What a fool I am not to have married Lois. Now I've lost her forever." And then it says in this, and he's like punching the thing.
Right.
I mean, hey, you gotta strike while the iron's hot, as they say. Here in suspended animation, sleep Darnell of Krypton and his bride Lois of Earth, who will awaken in the year 2169 to begin a new and happy life together. I'm sorry.
I'm very curious why they're frozen, why they put themselves to sleep.
Look at this cover. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Superman was being dumb. He should have married Lois.
Superman looks like kind of a dumb, not dumb, what am I trying to say? Kind of a clueless kind of guy. So Nauman collects wedding covers. That's why he wrote wedding covers.
Do you have this one?
I don't know if he has this one.
No, what's his name?
Nauman. N-A-M-M-A-N.
This guy's name is Darnell. Your name is not Darnell. Okay, so
Daryl was watching. I don't know if he's still here, but not Darnell.
Yeah. Okay. And my fifth one. I'm going to show this.
Doesn't have it yet. He's going to get it.
Oh, good. So that was number 90 of Superman's girlfriend Lois Lane. So my fifth comic I'm going to show is a more modern Archie, and this is Life with Archie. It's a 30 center. It's number 178, and I like Archies that are not them around a high school just trading jokes or jabs with each other. Mm-hmm. Here they're in a dangerous situation, and it's more like out of the norm for them. So they're trapped in a labyrinth of subterranean storm drains.
Wow.
Archie and Betty struggle against a raging torrent of doom. Is that what it says? Torrent? I'm reading it backwards. Read panic beneath the sea. I mean, that's out of the norm for Archie. It's like they're becoming action oriented.
Yeah. A real
pretty
plot.
Cool too. Pretty cool cover. So that was 5. You're up.
Okay. Okay, this is a real gem that you sent me. Creatures on the Loose number. Oops, I got to put myself up.
I mean, I'm gorgeous, but
yeah,
whatever.
That's what everyone says. I don't know why they say that.
Yeah, you do.
The look at that. Creatures on the Loose number 13. Fantastic Jack Kirby cover.
He's coming right out of the psychedelic TV.
It's very shiny. I'm going to take it out of the bag.
It's the Mylar. The Mylar effect does that.
I love Mylar is magical, but
yeah,
I also want to look inside.
I've come to take you to Krogar with 2 R's.
I'm wondering if this is reprints or not. Anyway.
Look at that splash page.
Yeah. Now there's someone who's sexy, right?
Wow. He's hairy. You just got to bag his face.
You like to date bears, didn't you say that once?
Yeah. So, but no, not
maybe you like bears with a handsomer face, though. Okay, so I think it's a mix of new and old because this one looks much newer. Reed Crandall's
There's
story.
A werewolf. Stanley Len.
That's a beautiful, beautiful splash page. So anyway, I really appreciate you giving me this. Thank you very much.
Those old horror comics are so cool.
Yeah.
Midnight on Haunted Hill. I wouldn't go to Haunted Hill at midnight.
You wouldn't.
I would not. Like, just the name Haunted Hill. I'm like, who would go there at midnight?
You could meet an alien bear or something.
That bear's no good.
This is also very exciting. I think it's a Neil Adams cover on Superboy.
Oh, you got to rip that blue tape off the back.
Number 153.
That is Neil Adams for sure.
Challenge of the Cosmic Invaders. That's
Neil Adams.
Yeah.
And what
I don't think he ever drew an interior of Superboy, but
look at how cool that one is.
That is incredible.
That was one of the first ones I rebought when I started collecting. Do you see there's like a blue strip of tape there? Rip that off. That was where I was holding them together to stop them from bouncing around.
Right.
Yeah. It was just, that was like.
All of this is very last minute. I just opened Dave's package before.
But that one you keep because that's the one that's sealed. Look at, I'm like backseat driving here. This is the way you open a comic box.
This is very exciting to me. It is.
Oh my, the cover's ripped.
It is kind of beat up, but it's still very readable, and that's what counts to me.
Yeah.
The only damage that I really, well, there's all kinds of damage, but I hate water damage.
Yeah, I don't like it either.
Other than that, if it's just been roughly treated over the years, I'm fine.
When you're gonna have to take the backboard, I put really thick backboards in there, so you have to take the backboard and slide them both in together.
Whoever sold it to you, or did you rebag them, or did they come?
I rebagged them.
Oh, okay. They're very they've got very thick boards in them.
Yeah, that makes it really
nice
pop.
Yeah, a really nice shiny Iron Man 35 center. Another Keith Pollard cover. It's a Keith Pollard day for me.
Yeah.
Very nice. Oh, but now this is, I am also trying to collect all the Captain Americas leading up to the first Captain America I ever bought in 1971.
Which one was it?
I can't remember the number now. It had Batroc the Leaper on the cover.
I know which one it is. Yeah.
And the Stranger was stealing children inside of it.
Can I do a mini rant about that issue?
This one here, or the one with the...
No, this one. So this is what I don't like about key collectors. So all of a sudden, this is the first appearance of the Man Brute. Well, who the hell is the Man Brute? Who's ever heard of him again? Like, why is that important? It's the first appearance of Man Brute. So all of a sudden, it's a key. But
and all of a sudden, you have to pay more for it.
Yeah, but he's not an important character. And so this is one of the reasons
there are no actual Man Brute fans out there who have driven up the price.
Yeah, so this is one thing I do not like, but that's the market driving up the prices. I got it cheap, by the way. I did not pay.
There are enough people out there who just want to collect keys, so the market is demanding them to come up with more and more keys to collect. I'm
going to tell you, when I'm in Whatnot,
that's the way it's working in my mind, right? It's the desire for keys, not the desire for the real character anymore.
I will get a whole run of comics. For example, the Avengers. I was getting every issue. But then one issue came up in, like, they were all in the row. Nobody else was bidding on them. The next issue that came up was a key. Boom. Everybody started bidding on it.
Yeah.
And I didn't even try. I was like, okay, but it's stupid. No one bid on all the others in the same run, same artists, same storytellers, right? And then all of a sudden there's a key and everybody starts bidding on it like crazy. I'm just like, it just makes
run collectors hate the key collectors.
I don't, yeah. I won't say I hate
if they like to collect keys, that's fine. But unfortunately, it is bad luck for us.
It's bad for us, but they're actually helping the comic community in many ways. They're keeping it alive in a sense because they're making comic collecting in a sense popular, right? They've driven the market in a certain way.
They've also driven down the price of the non-keys. I think you can collect most of the books in a run much cheaper than you could have, say, 20 years ago.
Yeah, so I get really frustrated. Like, oh, I was ranting about that, about my Veronica and Betty and Veronica. Remember, I was really mad about missing one issue, and I was just like, so, anyways, we won't go into that. But you remember my rant, right? About that.
Well, Terrence, Comic Crack, I think they are helping in the sense that there are less people wanting to buy the non-keys. So a lot of comic shops, when they buy a collection, they go through, search for the keys, and then they kind of either hastily price
liquidate
or all the bins. They just want to get rid of all the other ones as quick as they can.
Yeah.
So that's why I think they're driving down the price unintentionally. Here's another Avengers, a Gil Kane cover, number 143, a 25 center. I may have had this as a kid because I had it during this era. I had a mail subscription to the Avengers. And so they all arrived at my house with a crease down the middle.
Yeah.
And sometimes they arrived wet because it was raining out when the postman arrived. Because they were
look at the viewpoint on that comic. It is so cool. They're all like descending on that creature. It's pretty cool.
Gil Kane is kind of shows off how good of a draftsman he is by always choosing wild perspectives and the like. And that's why we all know him as the up the nose guy. He's either going way down from above or way up below the characters. Yeah. He was a genius of a sort. Okay, I'll just show two more things while I'm up here, because this is incredible. I have never read Sweet Tooth, and now I have the deluxe edition. Maybe I already own deluxe edition book 1, deluxe edition book 2, and deluxe edition book 3. Never opened.
I know. I'm so bad.
I could probably sell these for a fortune, but I will read them. I
don't care. I want to give my things to a collector. I don't care what they're worth. I want someone to have them. And I just want the compendium, which, yeah.
Paperback? You prefer the paperbacks these days?
Yeah. The only way I want the more deluxe editions, if they have the wraparound covers that have printed art. It's just the compendiums fit on your shelves. They take up less space. I really like paperback myself.
Yeah,
I do.
I really like hardback. So this works out well for both of us.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
You should have all 3, not just 2 of them.
I have to check and see if I may have.
No, it's in the box.
I may have bought one. What's the third? Is it the other one's in the box too?
Yeah, it's in there.
Oh, okay, good. Then
I'm like, I gave you the whole thing. All right.
The nose guy.
I got 5 more. I don't even want to do that. I need a trim. Okay, here we go. I don't even know who did this art. It's either Ross or Delato, but look at that. That is like stunning, and I probably got that for $1.
Are there holes for his mouth there or something?
Yeah, it's like forming through the mask. He's like melting. Like here, this is, I believe, a Ross. I can't get the angle right there.
Is it like a Venom kind of thing or something? He's being transformed?
Yeah, to me, it looks like he's becoming the Lizard, but a red version. I don't know, but that is just a cool. I can't get it right without. I think that cover is amazing. This looks like the Marvel art cards by Jusco. Do you remember those?
I do remember those. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just.
There is a similarity between Ross and Jusco. Oh, yeah, that's how I always pronounce it Jusco. Maybe it's Jusco.
And even Delato in some instances. So I'm not sure. It's because it's such a close-up. I'm not sure which one of the artists did that, but I love that cover. Okay, that was my first one.
Look at that. Where'd that come from? I guess it's telling us someone just thumbed up. That's new on StreamYard. I don't know if it's how it's showing on YouTube.
Let's read Daryl's.
Daryl B is disagreeing with me. I don't think they're helping. I completed my runs of Daredevil, PM,
Power Man, and
Submariner around 2009, and has no problem finding every issue for very cheap, but could never happen these days.
Absolutely.
So the prices went up during COVID, but before COVID, I've got most of that Submariner run except for a few key issues very cheaply. I thought
my reasoning is how I believe they're helping is that there's been this huge interest in Marvel and DC movies, and that's fueled people buying specific comics related to those characters. And it actually brought a lot of people back into comic book stores.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fueled this whole key thing. I mean, there's positives and negatives. It's all negative for me, but I do see that there are some positives because the comic market is constantly struggling.
Right. No, I think
it's still in trouble because of digital, and even digital is failing. And yeah,
I guess they failed to notify Scott that we started. Sorry about that, Scott.
No, I think he said he was going to be busy. I remember at the beginning, something like that.
He said here, it never started on my side. Huh.
Oh,
so maybe he had left the window open and it just didn't start up. So, anyway,
but I'm live and I'm able to argue it. So too bad Daryl's not here because I'd love to hear what he has to say about that.
He might be right. Daryl, you got to come on. Gotten them cheaper in 2009. I might be wrong. I just have been surprised sometime how cheaply I've been able to get a lot of issues.
No, for example,
Like
Brother
I'll collect
Voodoo.
a whole run of stuff for like $1 a piece, and then there'll be one issue that's $40.
Exactly. No, Brother Voodoo, there was a hint that he was going to be in a Doctor Strange movie or something. And then all of a sudden, all of his appearances went up by like 400%. Is like, wow, the first appearance of Brother Voodoo, you know, nobody wanted it before. And I'm so mad that I didn't pick it up before then. Then all of a sudden it was going for like, you know, a couple $100. It's ridiculous.
It is.
I'm
just going to pause to say hello to Donald Rex. He has been a great commenter on a lot of people's videos for a number of years. And he recently started his channel where he's just showing everything in his boxes. And he's a really cool collector with all kinds of interesting stuff. So
Donald,
check out Donald Rex
right after this.
Okay.
All right. Well, I got to show 4 more. So here we go.
Sure.
Here is another Archie. And I just love this because he's
Archie
the
Clod of Thunder.
The Clod of Thunder. I mean,
that must be recent. I think I bought that to read with my daughter a number of years ago.
Yeah, this one is a $2.99. So yeah, it's definitely a more recent. But what
they stuck with $2.99 longer than anyone else.
I'd buy him from any age as long as I like the cover. So here's this one I pulled because of a kind of rant.
Do you think this
Archie and Friends?
Oh, sorry.
What?
Is this a profound statement or just a pun?
I think both.
Okay.
So here we have Archie and Friends. And the only reason I'm showing this is because this is an example of the woke fever. So Ethel is traditionally shown with like these huge buck teeth and, you know, like very ugly. And they're always trying to escape from her. But notice they've modernized her and they're still, you know, trying to get away from her. But she's you know, much prettier now. Right. And so this is a kind of like, you can't shame people for the way they look. And that's totally fine. But I just wanted to say, remember, I think it was in my last video, I showed a picture of Ethel and it was a wedding cover. And she was sitting there dreaming and she had a picture of Archie on the table and she was dreaming of getting married to Archie. And she was in robes like of a queen and a wedding dress. And, you know, they showed her, you know, and how she looked, how they were always trying to get away from her. So that's just like a modernization.
I have mixed feelings about that because on one hand, maybe it's good not to make fun of unattractive people. Absolutely. But on the other hand, maybe it's bad to pretend there's no unattractive people in the world because there still are.
Yeah, but they were always
there still is a prejudice against people for
because they're in Archie, they were always running away from her.
Right.
Sad. Okay.
Now, of course, with Jughead, the main joke is he's afraid of sexuality, or at least heterosexuality. Who knows?
Okay, and we're gonna end with Superman.
Totally no shame in high school these days.
So, who's the you would probably know the illustrator on this?
That looks like Kurt Swan to me.
That guy. He always makes Superman look kind of like pudgy to me.
Right. They're always somehow fat looking, but still with muscles on there.
Wide torsos. And I love this. They're on this like foreign planet and they're in this like ring that's made of wood on a foreign planet.
Yeah.
And there's a red sun and Luthor is just whomping on him. He's got like a black eye. Wait, I can't point to it the right way.
I wonder if that's the planet where Luthor is a superhero and Superman is a bad guy.
This one, I believe they're just equal now. They're both men because he's stripped of his powers with the red sun and they're having a boxing match.
Well, I hope Luthor wins.
Yeah, some Superman you are. It goes, oof, what a fool I was. I mean,
you're being accused of fat shaming now. So.
Oh, sorry. I said pudgy. I would never fat shame a pudgy person because I think pudgy people are cute. So I wouldn't do that.
I am barrel-chested. That's what
I like barrel-chested guys, especially hairy ones. Okay, and the final one. Wait, I got one more.
Sorry.
This one is a gun cover. Look at Batman and what she's saying. You murdered my husband, Batman. Why? And then this is the explosive story of the only man Batman ever killed. But look, yeah, that gun cover.
I'm sure it's totally true. They wouldn't lie on the cover, would they? But
yeah,
that's a beautiful cover. It looks like Jim Aparo to me.
Yeah, you're right. That is. I can't see the. Oh wait, there's something right there. I can't really see.
I can't tell on my screen. It just looks like Jim Aparo art to me.
Yeah,
so that's my best guess.
All right, so that was my 5th. You're up.
Scott is not overweight. He's just under tall.
Short and
shaming Scott. See, you got to watch out. Everything is. My impression at my daughter's school is you're going to be shamed for shaming, or shamed for saying things, being accused of saying something politically incorrect, even if they know that's not what you meant.
Yeah.
But anyway, it'll pass. Everything passes, including gas.
I have 9 more comics to show, but I have something.
That's all? I thought you had thousands of comics you haven't shown us.
No, I've got 2 stacks of books. Come on, we've already been going 40 minutes.
I thought you have a box of 100 Archies that no one's seen.
Oh, I'm not showing those. But I have something special that you don't know about, and there's about 10 of those. So
I don't know if you can hear yelling children in the background.
That's okay. We have lives.
So more gifts from Garage Geek. Superman 311. Some
he's getting knocked
person
out
with a horny hat. You may be the man of tomorrow, Superman, but I'm the man of forever. Not even you can defeat a superpowered immortal, but for some reason there's a horn coming out of his hat.
It's a probe. He's an alien. It says it at the top. So he's got his probe.
An alien plague is killing Earth, and its next victim will be Superman. Oh, good. We'll finally be rid of him.
Oh, I got another subscriber. Thank you, Erica. I'm going to have 600 after this. Woo-hoo-hoo.
Then you'll be rich. Okay, I think this is a surprise comic. Unnatural Order.
Oh, wait. I put a little sticker on it. It's probably in the box somewhere. Read the sticker.
Okay. In my last order of comics, I got 2 copies of this. I don't think I ordered even one. However, it looks fun. I have not heard of this one. It must be
a brand new comic. It's just out, and so the interior art is really nice. So I thought you would like it. Vault Comics #1.
Looks like a horror, huh? If I could guess.
I think you would like that of anybody because you like the independent comics.
I do. I like Vault Comics quite a bit. Here is Wanted, which fascinated me as a kid. I think it's actually reprints, maybe?
Most likely. Yeah, most likely.
But every issue features different villains, I think.
Yeah.
2 stories about villains, and that very cool cover. I can't tell who drew it.
And don't forget to remove all that blue tape on the back.
Don't worry.
I'm obsessing over that.
Okay, one of my greatest flaws as a wannabe hip comic book reader is I've never read Preacher. And it looks like I got Preacher hardback, Preacher volume #1.
Your fans are subbing to me like crazy. I love it.
And Preacher volume #2.
Yeah. I haven't finished that series, but what I read of it is amazing. It's such a great. Don't show anything because there's a lot of rudeness in that book.
Okay. The screaming victims of those children are in my dungeon, yes. Or their kids decorating Christmas cookies, one or the other.
One or the other.
Similar. Greetings to Taki. He's one of my favorite YouTubers. He hasn't done a lot of shows lately, but he's also a great supporter.
I've got a lot of people to sub to. I'm going to be watching a lot of videos after this.
I'm sure Taki 616 will be back with more videos, I hope I haven't missed any.
Is 616 related to the area code, Taki?
I assume it's what universe he's in, the 616 universe.
Okay.
Hal Lindsey's book's The Preacher. Oh, The Preacher, right. Yeah, I think I'm assuming, because I haven't read it, if you're offended by people making fun of Christianity, you might not.
You do not want to read Preacher.
Yeah, so I might be a little offended, but I can also handle it. So let's see. I'll do a few more. If you've only got a few left, maybe I should do 10 at a time because I've got a ton of comics all around me.
Yeah. Well,
I thought you would have boxes and boxes.
No, you can do comics while I'm doing books, whatever. No, I wanted to limit myself.
What is it? This is very cool.
I cut up. Remember, I cut up the old Hulk.
Was it one of those dollar ones?
No. Remember, I cut up the big thick, like, it's not an omnibus. Those Marvel Classic books. Wow. Remember, and even when
was it like Stan Lee's Origin of Marvel Comics that you cut up, like a $50?
No, it was Hulk. It was Hulk #1, like the first collection of 1 through 6, the issues 1 through 6. And even in the first box, I wrote you a letter and I stuck. Okay, that's my favorite cover.
And this is an incredibly good period of Superman. With this sand Superman. It was written by,
I didn't even want to send
Denny O'Neil.
I was like, no. I love that cover so much.
But you do still have your, I hope you didn't give me the better copy.
No, yeah, that comes off.
That time Hulk joined the circus.
But what an amazing cover that one is.
It is. It's incredible. I love it. And I mean, I want to collect all the Supermans from this era, but I especially want all the Neil Adams covers. So that's
absolutely.
Oh, here's a beautiful cover. Another Superman, 267. And I should know the name of the artist is slipping my mind, but this is a classic cover artist too. That's really great.
The World Beneath the North Pole.
World Beneath the North Pole. Pellucidar,
yeah.
Oh, and Bizarro. They always change the way Bizarro talks. You know Mary Lois Lane, me take her. But sometimes he talks in reverse, right? So if
look at the way she's being held.
Yes.
That is awesome.
Oh,
someone was thumbs upping Lois getting like all mistreated like that. At least her skirt is held in place.
Hopefully she is unconscious.
Yeah, look at that crazy cover.
Oh, Superman won't share the water in Superman number 393. Superman, we're all dying of thirst. You must let us drink the water.
I love anytime Superman is acting like a jerk. Look at that. They're begging. And even Lois is pulling on his cape. And he's like, hell no.
Okay, Zatanna literally says the words in reverse, but
those
Bizarro sometimes says the meaning in reverse. So if he likes you, he says, me hate you. That kind of thing.
And Mr. Mix, like, you have to say his name in reverse.
Is that the first appearance of Skartaris? Probably.
It's a key.
You just gave me a book worth $300. This is the first appearance of this fire escape up here.
There you go. But
that's a classic cover. I feel like I've seen that.
That cover is so cool. The Untold
Legend of Collector's miniseries concludes. Oh, it's the Untold Legend of Superman number 3.
It's the 3rd issue. I remember buying those. All 3 issues. The covers are really nice. I think that's the best cover of the 3.
It's not signed. It's definitely someone who's an artist who's a Neil Adams admirer. But it's not Neil Adams, I can tell. Oh, here's a George Perez cover. I definitely had this comic as a kid.
Yeah,
hold it. Subscription. Captured by the Collector. The Collector now looks very different. I was watching something with the Collector. Oh, I watched a recent Marvel Lego movie with my daughter, and they had the Collector in it, but he was more like a rock star looking guy. None of these wrinkles all over him.
Oh no, he wasn't Jeff Goldblum. He was the Benicio del Toro.
Was he? Oh, okay.
One of those actors. I think that both those actors have had Marvel parts. I can't remember though.
Is that a game show on TV? You can't do that on television? I don't know that one.
Am I up?
Right. You're talking about the Under the North Pole cover, right? Where I joked it was Pellucidar, which is Edgar Rice Burroughs' version of Skartaris.
Yeah.
And I don't think it really is Skartaris, but I'll have to read that issue to see. Ooh, okay. Now, this one, I kind of feel a bit guilty getting this from you. I think this is also a kind of expensive comic.
Doesn't matter. I had another copy. So I don't care about the price. we're collectors. We help each other out. So that's a Plug cover.
Yes, and the brief period of Plug on Werewolf by Night was just fantastic.
Yeah, and also I think he did some of the Frankenstein monster.
Yes, he did Frankenstein and Werewolf by Night.
Some of the horror titles.
He did the beginning of the Ghost Rider too.
Yeah, look how beautiful that cover is.
Yeah, I wish he had stayed in comics longer. He moved out of comics pretty quickly. I think he did a lot of. I think he's done the the drawings that they do for movies. He's done a lot of those on a lot of famous movies.
Okay.
Show on Nickelodeon. Okay. So should I keep going? Because I have so many to show, but
show a few more because I have 9 and I can do 2 more groups. But remember, I
remember this one. I had this as a kid.
Wait, I wonder why his legs are bare. Like why
keep changing their mind? Does he wear pants or doesn't he?
Because look at his arms. Shouldn't his legs be blue too?
And
is that shadow or
I think in the very first appearance he had no pants, and then the next issue he did, or something like that.
But are those shadows on his legs or pants? I mean socks.
I think they're supposed to be shadows. It's kind of a weird drawing, or a weirdly colored drawing.
It's a gorgeous cover.
It's John Romita, I'm 100% sure, but
I love it.
And I think the interiors, if I remember correctly, are Rich Buckler. He did a short stint on Thor. Back to speaking of Zatanna, Superman and Zatanna. I love these DC Comics presents. They're always very wacky and silly.
Yeah.
Help! I can't fight off these birds of prey. I've lost my magical powers. But she has gained an extra tight suit that she doesn't normally wear.
Look at him flying on a magic carpet. He's like surfing. Oh, yeah. He's surfing on a magic
And I've lost my superpowers, but I can try to save Zatanna because I now have her magic. Oh. Well, then he ought to be speaking backwards.
Silly fun. That's so awesome.
Oh, Scott Edelman is here, and he has a better memory of the movies than me.
There you go.
Benicio del Toro played the Collector, and Jeff Goldblum played the Grand Master.
Scott, I just want to say that I'm lucky that I actually remember the actors' full names. I have problems with that, but go ahead.
The Grand Master and the Collector are kind of blurred in my mind. But Scott has a fantastic podcast called Eating the Fantastic, and he's just got new microphones, but where he interviews comics and science fiction people over dinner or over lunch. At science fiction conventions.
Scott, you need to pay for my lunch. I'll be there.
Well, just start publishing something and then he'll interview you.
Oh. I'll do a drawing on a napkin.
He gets. You would think he would get a lot larger when he's eating a planet. This is laundry day. Very good.
There you go.
Gary. Hey, Gary. He says he's busy with tasks right now, but we'll be catching the replay.
I love Gary.
Thumbs up on my way back. See you on the rewind. Glad you stopped by, Gary. Gary has another great channel, especially if you like Conan.
I really like his shorts too. Wait, that sounded weird.
Yeah,
I love his shorts.
and he's actually a great community builder. I'm sure he'd want to interview you on his show someday.
He's never asked.
Well, he may not know about your channel yet.
So we're shaming him into doing it, and now it's not real.
Yes, Gary, you have to ask.
No, now it's like
you have to put Garage Geek in the hot seat.
I'll never know if it was real.
Okay, I'm excited about this because I think I'm a virgin where it comes to Believe It or Not. This might be my first Believe It or Not.
And that's like a real shrunken head on that cover.
Really? Wow.
Yes.
That's disturbing.
It's very disturbing that they put that on a comic book.
There is no
and that's the Golden Age size. Do you see how much bigger it is?
Let me see.
I have to buy like special bags and boards for those.
Oh yeah. And there's no seal of approval on it. Did it come before? Well, it's 12 cents, so I assume it came after the comics code.
40s and 50s, yeah. True Demons and Monsters. Strange.
Wow. Okay.
And that might even be like one of the first issues.
Oh, there's even more in your box. But here's one more to show. Tarzan #1. I think I have. Oh, this is the king size annual.
Yeah.
My collection of Tarzans is
Look
getting
at that
pretty
cool
good.
cover. Look at that
If
cover.
we have enough time, I'll be showing some more Tarzans.
Look at that.
That is a really good John Buscema cover, I believe.
Look at that. So cool.
But it's animal abuse, so I don't know if you like that.
It was. Oh, he stabbed him. I don't think it was animal abuse because he was probably attacked.
Well, they were probably fighting for dominance over the tribe or something.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't think about it that deeply, so now you're disturbing me.
You're on Gary's list, so hopefully you actually want to do it because now you heard that.
We pressured him into it.
Nothing is real in Hollywood as a bride's.
I don't know bride.
Okay, so you're going to show us some of your.
I have 2 sets left plus a special. Okay. So the first one I'm going to show is another one of those golden sizes, and this is little Lulu, and this is a 12-cent. And Dell and Gold Key, they're famous for not putting the issue numbers on the covers, but I love these simple older comics because of the simple, not simple comics, but the simple art and the lines and the colors.
Right.
I just love that. And the next one is along that same line. This is a 15 center. It's a little bit beat up, but look at how gorgeous that color cover is with that yellow background. Like, that is a beautiful, beautiful. Sorry, can't get it right. That's a beautiful comic.
Well, there's an art to simplifying the forms in just the right way.
And that's why these are so cool as compared to the superhero covers where they're very busy, which we love. But then when you see something like this, it's just that simplicity jumps out at you. I love it. Here is Supergirl starring in Adventure Comics. It's a 15 center. It's number 385. And I read this. I was laughing at this cover so hard, I started reading it to my husband. And he was like, "Why are you reading this to me?" I was like laughing so hard. So I got to read this to you. Great Krypton. How can you possibly lift that giant rocket? I'm the only Supergirl on Earth. So, and then she said, "You mean you were?" But I'm even more powerful than you, Supergirl. You see, I'm your older sister. I mean, it's so ridiculous. It's so telenovela. And I say that because my husband is always watching these telenovelas. And it's like, it's so crazy. I love it.
The superheroes are always so childish. You know, it's like, I want to be the only Superman on Earth.
Yeah. Now, one thing that I could detract about this cover is that it's got this white background, which is fine. But the city should have been, I think, a different color. Like, they should have been like white or, I'm sorry, like gray or green or something to make it stand out a little bit.
That makes sense.
Little quibble on my part. Okay, next, 2 more. I did not pay $10 for this. This is what they had it listed at.
I'm wondering if Comic Worm had a lot of sisters.
I have 3 older sisters. And yeah, they were always more powerful than I was. So this is DC Comics Presents number 85. And I just love it for that painted cover. I mean, look at that thing. Superman and Swamp, sorry, the glare on this one. But yeah, look at that gorgeous, gorgeous cover. I'm going to try to get it closer to the camera. I don't know.
I'm not sure, but I think I might have an original page from that issue.
Wow, you need to find it and show it.
I need to dig through my original pages.
Dig. So
I have one with Swamp Thing and Superman, but it may or may not be from that issue.
What do people think in the audience? Because I love painted covers, and I'm trying to collect all of the Dell Gold Key painted covers. Yeah. And the last one I'm going to show is.
Did you like the Dell Gold Key when you were a kid?
No,
I hated them as a kid. I hated them as a kid, and now
I was stupid. I hated Jack Kirby art when I was a kid.
I did. I love Jack Kirby, but I'm
a little bit younger. Covers. And like, I was into George Perez and John Byrne, and they were so like, his art looked too cartoony and not realistic. And as a kid, I didn't appreciate that. Whereas you had seen that art growing up, I guess. I hadn't. I don't know.
Well,
I'm trying
one
to
of my
justify it.
earliest comics was an issue of New Gods that was just mind blowing in its.
I love them now.
Like issue number 6 or something.
Because
I don't
I've
know
been
if this-
doing a
if
lot
you
of
s-
Kirby.
I'm now going to stare at a George Perez cover for a few hours and see if anything happens.
George Perez art is so amazing. Amazing. Okay, so the final one I'm showing in this set is an homage cover. What is it an homage to? Can anybody guess? This is Married with Children. And it's
Oh
an
my God.
homage,
Married with Children.
obviously, to Fantastic Four #1. But the hilarious thing is the daughter is the thing. She looks hilarious.
And do you know if they spoof the Fantastic Four inside?
I just got this, so I don't know. I'll open it up.
That would be fun if they went with a whole story with the family becoming the Fantastic Four. Mr.
Nifty, Transparent Broad, Matchstick Boy, and the Thingy. Oh my God! And Jerry Mathers as the Beaver. I think they do, because look, they're on fire. And
I want that issue. Then I'll have to look for it.
I'll read it and let you know. Yeah, look at her. She's gigantic. Look, wait, can I get it centered? Okay, look at her. She's gigantic with this small head. This is hilarious. Yeah, I'll read it and review it. And I'll keep my eye out for another copy. In fact, I can just send you this one. I don't need this in my collection.
Well, after you read it, if you want to, you can send it to me.
Yeah, definitely. And unfortunately, this copy of it has, you can't see it on screen, but it's like all around it, there's like this dark edge.
Oh, okay.
Like someone had been smoking, like there was something on top of it. So I don't think it's a very desirable issue to have. I think I want it in a lot.
That's one reason I've often been hesitant to get comics off of eBay, because once I got a lot of like 20 black and white magazines and they reeked of smoke.
Yeah.
And I had to, I luckily at the time I lived in a house where I had extra rooms, and I opened the windows in that room and I left them spread out for a week in an open window room to get the smoke smell out.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I only have one more set, but then I got a surprise set.
So like you, a comic book worm, Nauman, likes painted covers and did not like Jack Kirby.
Yep.
And did not like painted covers. So I guess
probably for the same reasons.
A lot of people found Jack Kirby too weird looking. Scott loves painted covers. I think we thought painted covers looked old because they were when we were kids, and I wanted stuff that looked like the Marvel comics of the time, basically.
Yeah, we couldn't appreciate really good art in a sense. Like it looked museum-y, maybe.
Right. And then and the art on the inside was something completely different.
You can take it off me now. I'm like,
oh, sorry. Sometimes I forget what I'm doing.
No problem. We got to see you now. Okay, now show.
Okay, so it's back to me.
Yeah, show some comics already.
I'm getting towards. Oh my goodness! So 2 more things from the box from you. There is Sweet Tooth. So I have the whole set, I guess.
Yeah, you have the entire
Sweet Tooth.
Yeah, Sweet Tooth.
Because I don't have enough to read already. But
I've always read that, and I need to. It's very lauded.
Lauded too.
Lauded. What did I say? Lauded?
Yes. Which is fine. I don't know the right pronunciation. And then I am super excited about this because this is, I think, completely out of print, and I don't think you can get this version of it anymore at all. Hellboy Volume 1, the library edition.
There looks like there's some fuzz on it. Like in the corner, there's like this white speck.
There's some lint, but it wipes right off.
I've always had it in that plastic to keep it.
It's in pretty perfect condition.
Yeah. Those things are gorgeous, but I just want the compendium with all of them in one set. Like the big damn Hellboy or whatever it's called.
I can hear it making creaking noises in the binding like it's never been opened before.
I didn't read it. I didn't even read it.
Oh.
Because I don't want to start it and then I don't have the rest of it. So I don't.
Well, I think they're short stories anyway.
That's true.
So sometimes we have to resist this urge to have everything before we read it, because that's.
Oh, don't start lecturing me.
I'm gonna lecture you.
Whatever. Everybody, give him a thumbs down right now. Thumbs down.
Down. Okay, well, I'm gonna dig into a little of the non-David gift
There you
stuff.
go. And remember, I got another stack to send you. He picked a whole bunch more.
So we have to make more videos.
Yep.
So I guess with the new Conan coming out and creating all this new renewed excitement over Conan, I started looking at my Conan collection for what I was missing. And amongst other things, I did not have most of the Conan annuals from Marvel back in the 70s and early 80s.
Look at that gorgeous, gorgeous art.
So this one was a reprint issue, and it had this incredible Barry Smith.
That's it. And look at how thick the line work is on that. It really makes it stick out.
Yeah.
Like, that is so cool.
I know. It's all about incredible inking, really. Once he started inking himself, that's when his art really took off. I mean, it was always good, but so this next cover is nothing compared to that. Number 2, annual number 2.
I still think that thing is cool. That one is what, John Buscema or something.
I don't think that's Buscema, so I'm not. I'm guessing Rich Buckler, but it doesn't have the tells of Buscema. The next cover is Buscema.
Look at the sky in that. The lightning coming out of that sorcerer. The claws.
Well, I'm excited too because it has Thoth-Amon on it, who's my favorite Conan villain, an evil sorcerer named Thoth-Amon.
Attack of the Midnight Monster. He's got his sword going the wrong way, like he's hitting him. He needs to be stabbing him.
Daryl D says he has to have everything before he can start. So, like, if you want to read the Fantastic Four, you have to collect all 600 issues before you can start reading any.
I think that's an extreme example, but okay.
And my good buddy Lorenzo in Indie Comics and Reviews has joined us.
That's a cool avatar.
Yes, that's his own creation, a ninja.
It's a bunny ninja. That is so cool.
Yeah, Lorenzo does his own comics. Slowly, I might add, he's posting a autobiographical comic on Instagram, but very slowly. Sometimes I want to nag him to make him go faster, but I shouldn't rush a true artist.
Yeah, unlike
here is a classic John Buscema.
That is amazing.
Yeah,
look at those two hunks standing right next to each other.
Oh, would you like to meet them?
Hairy. Conan needs some hair, and then
they all shave their chest for some reason.
No, it got burned off in the fire. They look like brothers, though, or twins, to be honest.
I wonder what the theory in comics is. They don't usually show people with hairy chests.
Perez does. George Perez does.
And Neil Adams does, but mostly
and John Byrne. So they're my favorite.
I'm assuming it's just easier to draw them without hair.
Yeah, that's true.
That
okay, I don't have that
Ernie
one.
Chan cover, I'm guessing, but I don't know. This is annual number 4.
I don't have that one. And look at that weird Minotaur. His face.
That's gruesome.
That is a weird. Oh, and he's got arms too. Ugh, I don't have
arms and legs. It's kind of
4 legs and 2 arms.
It's kind of like a man was shoved inside a bowl.
Yeah, I need that one.
Yes. I don't know if I'd like to get my wife in this particular costume. I do sometimes think about what costumes I ought to get my wife to wear.
That's the Leia, Princess
Not
Leia.
that it's ever going to work, but here's this one says Mayrick on it. I would not have guessed, but it must be a Val Mayrick cover.
I have that one, and I'm torn about that art. I first of all, I don't like the square with like the gigantic letters.
I don't like the lettering of the word annual. It seems too
it's intrusive. I do like the solid background. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, you said before, I kind of like a background most of the time. Or some sense of a conflict or something.
What ruins this one is his face. It's just his face looks off.
Yeah,
but everything else
doesn't look at all like we've come to think of Conan.
Wonderful.
He looks like someone who just escaped from the asylum or something.
Yeah, I'm kind of like he is a barbarian though. He's supposed to be when he comes at you, he's supposed to be yelling, screaming, put fear into you. So I get it.
Here's an interesting thing that I never hear anyone talk about, and maybe it's an uncomfortable subject, but back in the day, Conan had a slightly reddish tint to his skin.
And he's got it there.
compared to all the other characters. Like if you would see him in a scene with the civilized people. So I always thought, because this is all ancient history or pre-ancient history, thousands of years before the continents moved around and stuff, that Conan was supposed to be, despite the Irish name, the ancestor of the Native Americans.
I think
Amerindians, or whatever the proper term is.
You could also interpret it as he's always out in the sun. He's in the desert. He's like, his skin is like,
and he's always described with blue eyes and bronze skin. Conan is Asian. Yeah, Conan may be South or Korean.
He's Sumerian. Is that right?
Sumerian. So I looked it up. There were a real people called the Sumerians back in sort of biblical times. And they were nomadic, and very little is known about them. They're just referred to occasionally in like Babylonian texts and things. And so they were Middle Eastern. But the main reference to them is by Homer. And he says that Sumeria is a land where the sun never shines, where it's always cloudy and gloomy. So it's more kind of a mythical place than a real place.
Okay.
So I think that Robert E. Howard picked up on the name from Homer. That's my guess.
That's a cool cover, but it's
very short there.
It harkens back to those Marvel horror comics.
It does. It looks like one of Jack Kirby's 1950s monsters.
I don't have that one either.
And
here's
a painted cover for you.
I don't have that one either. Dang.
I don't know if it's a great painted cover. It's by Ernie Chan or Ernie Chua.
I still want it because I'm going to be a Conan completionist like Gary B.
That's true. He might have been thinking of Vikings. I think it was supposed to be a semi-mythical place, that was so far away that no one in civilization had ever visited there. This one also is kind of a painted cover by Ernie Chua or Ernie Chan.
Okay.
And it looks kind of like we have a blonde-haired ninja fighting him.
Oh, I like that one. Sorry, my dog is scraping.
I need to convince my wife to kind of sit on the ground and wrap her arms around my legs more often.
No.
That's obviously
why does the woman have to
obvious? I'm learning from comics the way life
should be. You need to be the subservient one in role play. Let her be dominant with the sword.
Scott is always above my head. I don't know what he means by "so I'm Bill too." Maybe he means Comic Mag Musings, who's a huge Conan fan. There's a channel called Comic Mag Musings, and his name is Bill. He lives in Arizona, and he collects a huge amount of Conan, amongst other things.
But let's just say that Conan's about to get it for being so chauvinistic. He's about to get a boot right to the head.
He's completely unaware he's about to be kicked in the head.
He's like, duh.
But what looks like a modern American kung fu aficionado. Sorry, I should be giving you a turn. But I think I'm getting to the end of these annuals.
I don't have that one either.
That's kind of a cool cover. I don't know who the artist there is.
That is interesting.
Conan looks like maybe his torso is too thick, like he's taking some lessons from Superman there.
He looks fine to me in that one. And that guy got some nice arms. Look at those arms.
Well, maybe you know more than know better than I do about male anatomy. I'll be the female anatomy expert.
We both know the same amount.
Okay, that's the end of my annuals. I'll give you it.
All right, I only have 4 comics left to show. So the first one I'm going to show is $1 Pep Comics. So this is Archie, and I picked this one because it was kind of meta. And it makes me want to do some research. So this one says, welcome to Mamaroneck. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that. New York, home of Archie Comics. And they're all driving there because they're going to get jobs working at Archie Comics. It's going to be a real blast working at Archie Comics. So I just thought that was a cool kind of meta cover. And I want to research Mamaroneck, New York. And I'm wondering if they have a museum there.
Mamaroneck, I bet it's called.
Mamaroneck.
Because I feel like when I was a kid, I feel like I heard the name Mamaroneck, New Jersey on the radio.
Mamaroneck.
Just want to say hello to Dr. Von Schilla. John, thank you for stopping by. Catch you later.
Oh, what? Look at that cool icon or avatar.
Yes.
Demon.
Yes, John is very cool. An old school collector.
Okay, next I have another it's a 12-cent Superman's palette, Jimmy Olsen. Not another one, but you know, the sidekicks of Superman. And here it's pretty cool because Superman is in I can't get that to be right. He's in a very precarious position. So Jimmy is basically saying, hey, when the clock strikes, we're going to release Superman. He's going to pop up out of the ground and destroy that statue, I guess. But Superman is pounding away. He's like, I've lost all my superpowers hours ago. Can't breathe. I'll die within seconds. And he's like pounding on. That's horrible.
This would probably be an example of what Jack Kirby thought was the problem with. I'm not saying I agree with him, but what he thought was the problem with DC, that it always showed the heroes kind of
weak,
being unheroic and weak.
Yeah, I don't know, but Superman like that is a really cool comic cover. Hi, Entropy.
Hello, Entropy in Comics.
And I saved the last two. Like, these are the crowning jewels that I'm going to show today. I just got these from Whatnot. I have this beautiful Marvel Superheroes number 25. They're reprints. Who cares? Look at that beautiful cover. If you people aren't drooling out there, there's something wrong. Like, I want to inspire FOMO in all of you right now. Look at this. Got to go out and get it. No, what a gorgeous comic that is. And I got it I probably got it dirt cheap. And then the last one is another Marvel Superheroes. This is a 25 center. They're 25 cents because they're double issues, right? So
right. That was during the 12-cent era, I believe.
And here, like, look at these people. Dive, Daredevil, dive to your death. And they're like shooting them.
I wonder if is that like a John Romita cover, or it's hard to tell. It's a very nice cover.
Yeah, I mean, but look at this. It's gorgeous. I mean, I'm so happy to have these two comics in my collection. These are like showcase comics. I mean, look at how gorgeous they are. They got to go up on my wall.
They are beautiful. I am feeling the FOMO right now.
Whatnot is WHAT. Whatnot. It's an app where you go on and you bid. You enter rooms where people are selling things.
Very fast-moving auctions.
Don't do it. And so you go into the room
unless
and you
have money bidding. To throw away.
I'm totally addicted, and I'm at the point where it's like a true addiction. Like, I can't stop. I've got to do something.
Your husband should take your phone away from you.
Yeah, because you pay by credit card, and so it just goes onto the credit card, and you don't realize, like, I'm buying comics for $1 and $2, but you're buying multiple comics, and it's just like, just don't do it, Scott. Don't.
Well, it's very different from eBay because they're live video auctions,
and you just you bid against ones.
It's mostly a place, I think, for selling cheap comics, and they put them up, and there's like 10 seconds or 20 seconds to bid, and then if
every time you bid, it goes back up. They add 10 seconds. But no, I've seen comics go up to $300 and $400 on there. Wow. Like, but you know, you have to do it at the right time.
There are also a lot of ones where you can just buy hundreds.
I get them for $1, $2, $1. All of these comics I'm showing you, I got them super cheap.
Greetings, Phil, in your treehouse.
That's a cool avatar.
Now, Lorenzo is of my generation, or maybe even a little earlier, but close to mine, and he loves those 25-cent books. I love them too, just because they were like the just out of reach books for me in the day.
I'm trying to get ready for my next section, but I don't want you to see. It's a surprise.
Oh, can I show some more? Or
yeah, it's your turn.
Okay. I'll switch it up from my Conans, although I have more Conans to show. And I'm going to show something else I'm trying to collect that's more odd is 8-Ball. I got the compendium of 8-Ball, and I didn't like it, and I
You gave it to me.
I wanted the individual issues. Did I send you the compendium?
Yeah, I have it.
Yeah.
I'm going to read it.
So I have been on eBay, even though normally I don't go on eBay because it's hard to find 8-Ball, and buying lots of 8-Ball. So I actually have ended up with some doubles, but let's see. These are all out of order. Anyway, here is a really weird 8-Ball cover, number 14.
Yeah, that's in your thumbnail. That is awesome.
Now, is this, if he had a hairy chest, would that work for you? I don't know.
No, he looks like a baby. I'm not like, that's just, you're asking me if I'm a pedophile. I am not.
He's an adult, I think. Or
no, he looks like a floating.
Never mind.
Baby.
I thought he was
but he's in his underwear. I don't know. That's just a weird picture.
So for those who don't know, 8-Ball was a series of comics in the 90s that just contained all of Dan Clowes's work. Whatever he was doing at the time, he'd put it into 8-Ball. So stuff that became Ghost World or became Zap Gun, or let's see there's some other famous ones that he did that originally appeared in these comics. So it's kind of like a 90s version of an underground comic, but with more of a narrative thrust. So I love this cover. I would never dare do that, but I don't.
That is an awesome cover.
Yeah.
Oh, I went and grabbed the compendium to show it when you're done.
We do have a new person joining us in just a minute. I'll put him on, but I'll finish showing the 8-Balls.
Art School Confidential. Also,
actually, maybe I'll take a break and have him on in case he wants to make comments about 8-Balls. So, another one of my favorite YouTubers, Gore Vidal, the mightiest man in Texas. How are you doing, Gore?
Hello, everybody. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Very good.
Because you're being followed by that chair. Your shirt is the same color as the background of the chair.
Yeah, he's like a floating head.
I came here only for one reason. This is for David.
Wow.
I love that movie, by the way, but it's an epic. It's not a romance.
We'll discuss this later. Damien, continue, please. Continue.
Well, is romance a genre or a flavor? That's what I always wonder.
It depends on the woman.
I like romance as a flavor in a movie, not as a genre, like for its own sake. But I think it's a very good flavor. Like I like to put it in most movies, if you see what I'm saying, or most stories.
Yes.
Well, I'll show a little more 8-Ball. Do you have 8-Balls, Gore?
I've never.
There's only 6 here. I hope.
Well, I can
answer that without
balls, and I can brag about it.
I got 8-Balls too. A thick 8-Balls.
I love these covers because they both feel underground, but they also kind of feel like an old-fashioned kids comic with the other things down the side.
They're gorgeous.
So this is definitely a double. If either of you want to collect 8-Ball, I could start you off with this reprint, I guess, of 8-Ball number 1. There were at most 8-Balls. There were multiple printings.
That's a nice cover.
And this one has the very surreal kind of David Lynchian series called Like a Velvet Glove in Cast in Iron. And it has Dan Pusey, which is a spoof of comic book artists. And this one looks kind of depressing. Welcome to my house of dreams, but he's in a blue.
That is awesome.
And then this looks like is this a scene from Ghost World? Maybe I think so.
That's
I don't know.
All kinds
He's
of
saying,
weird.
What is this? And the other girl saying it looks like a giant sperm.
Yes, and he's down on his knees showing us his butt.
But I think it's a she. I think that's a she.
Oh, sorry.
I think they're both she's.
That is just a weird cover. That's very weird.
Okay.
Why is there a giant sperm in that underground room?
I'll have to read this issue to find out. Now, with this, I am trying to collect all the issues before I read it.
That's Klaus, right?
His most recent graphic novel is called Monica, and everyone
That's
says
right.
it's really great. I haven't picked it up yet. I actually put it on hold from the library. Comic Crack has read it, and he says it's fantastic. Let's see. Carolyn Cash homaged an 8-ball cover for her series.
Oh, cool.
I don't. Who's Carolyn Cash? I'm not sure.
You'd need to buy that issue.
And Lorenzo loves the Velvet Glove. Oh wow, this Dan Clowes Studio Edition, which is the size of a child's bed. So that's one of those recreations of the original art. I'd love to get that someday.
Whoa.
Adrian Tomine's Optical Nerve, I think, maybe started a little later, but was concurrent with this. Yeah, it takes you back to the 90s. You don't find comic books like this in the comic book shops anymore.
No, you don't.
Be mixed in with all the other comics, but now you have to, if you can figure out what authors do this kind of stuff, you have to special order them online or something. Oh, she's the pee poo person from Silver Sprocket. Okay.
Oh, wait, can I make a plug? So, Omnicat and her husband, her husband is an independent comic illustrator and creator, and he goes to comic conventions and he sets up his work like zines. So they're like, through them, they actually review a lot of comic zines, which I've seen you do. And so
what's the name of the channel? Because she's Omnicat and she's something else.
Yes, and and that's the problem. Her channel name, she has two different ones, and I know her as Omnicat, but her channel name is for the other one, and I can't remember.
And does her husband, who's the independent creator, does he have a
yes channel? I don't think so. They post together on one channel.
Maybe you can send me their link, and I'll post it in the
definitely
for people who want to follow more of these independent kind of people.
So it's out there, but you really have to search for it.
I have 2 more issues to show, and then we can talk more about Dr. Shabbat now. Here is issue 5. So there's more. He's at least for 5 issues or more doing the Velvet. So most of the stories from here you can get as graphic novels, like separated out.
Yeah.
I just wanted to read them this way. And I don't know what this playful obsession thing is here. That looks weird. Like a disturbing children's comic. And talking about disturbing, there's a disturbing person.
These covers are awesome.
They are. I think the covers are in that omnibus I sent you.
I brought it to show everyone what it looks like. So
okay, here
when you're ready.
That was the last of them. So here.
This is what Sleepy Reader sent me. The complete 8-ball. It's a gorgeous compendium. And yeah, a lot of it is black and white, but there are splotches of color. And then you do get this great art, and all the covers are in here. And I think because it's complete, it has all those runs of Ghost World and Art School Confidential and Like a Velvet Glove, all of that. But look at what a gorgeous compendium this is. And it's from Fanta Graphics.
And I think that is still in print. That's the easiest way to get all of these.
Yeah, this would be and this really looks like a fascinating read. I'm looking forward to it.
I do miss the days when head shops had comics. I used to, in the early 80s, go into head shops and find later editions of all the classic underground comics. Is Reed Chancellor the name of the fellow you're talking about?
Yes. But what is
Comic Slayer?
Comic Slayer, yes.
The name of her channel.
Thank you. So you really should watch their channel. This is really good.
And I remember that Reed guy also comes on her channel and plays guitar and sings occasionally. All right, or maybe just as a joke.
Probably. I don't remember seeing that, but
Lorenzo has that 8-ball collection too.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to reading it.
Okay, let's do the group shot.
I think in our circle, I'm the only one who has never read Klaus. I still haven't read.
You haven't read a single one?
No, of anything by him.
Who's Klaus?
Dan Clowes, Clowes.
Yeah,
I haven't read anything either. He sent it to me.
You can just do push-up.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen the movie Ghost World?
Yes.
Not even I've seen the film. No, as many
Let's
movies
read
that
it
I've
together.
seen.
And Art School Confidential was also a movie from one of his comics.
That one I haven't seen either. I
Let's
don't know
read
how
it
he's
together.
evaded me all these decades.
Yeah.
But I think, like I said, among our circle of
Right.
YouTubers, I am like the only one. I don't even own a book by him.
Oh
Well,
my
in the
God.
more
I'm not
sort of-
included in the circle.
in the more
You're now
indie
owned. No, you own a
circles
book.
of YouTube, everyone's read Klaus, right? He's kind of the golden boy.
Get rid of my face. I'm not included in the circle.
We're kicking you both out of the circle.
No, let's read it together, Gore. We can review it together.
That's a very big book.
Oh, you have head shop. So we now have dispensaries, but we don't have head shops.
No, I don't have head shops now.
I remember the Freak Brothers being, that's the kind of thing that you would find.
I used to get the Freak Brothers at the head shops, and they would have Zap comics, like the 12th edition or 12th printing of Zap comics and stuff. But not anymore, because that's all gone. So are you tempted to read some Dan Klaus?
I was going to pick up Monica, and I saw it on Amazon. I think it's $26.27, but I'm going to wait. And I think I will like it. I know Terrence liked it, like you mentioned. And other YouTubers, they've also commented they all like it a lot. I've noticed that some of the mainstream YouTubers who don't read, they read some independents, but Klaus is even more in the margins.
Right.
They've been engaged by the book.
Right.
So,
he's crossed over more than any other kind of underground-ish.
Yeah, I think so. I think even surpasses Burns, don't you think? Because Black Hole, isn't that Burns' most popular book? And even then, that's still in the margins.
In the early days, Burns might have, when Black Hole was first coming out, might have been more well known than Klaus. But at this point, Klaus he's like in the canon of, he'll be in all the libraries, and I think partially because of movies. Movies legitimize people, unfortunately, in our society.
Yes, unfortunately, because you're absolutely. Yeah. I just
I like the movies that were made from his books, but I just dislike that that's the source of legitimacy for everyone.
And I'm familiar with those two films. Just for some reason, they just evaded me. I haven't avoided them, but they haven't really engaged me to watch them. Oh, this Terrence. And but eventually I'll get to him in time.
Have you read Gore? Have you read many underground comics in general?
In general, not as many as you all. I mean, I'm limited to the Zap comics. I'm limited to some of the Freak Brothers. Terrence introduced, when I discovered Comic Crack's channel, he had a lot of books that he was talking about. And locally, they're almost very hard to find this part of Texas. And they're more popular, I think, in Houston and in Austin, which had, I guess, more of those head shops and back in the day. And so those books I've had to order. Every once in a while at a comic shop, they'll end up there and they won't know what to do with them. And that's when they contact me and they say, do you want these? And that's how I get them. But it's very limited to what I have. And like Spain Rodriguez, I like a lot, but only again because Terrence spoke about him a long time ago.
Right.
And it's to credit to, people like him, like yourself and others on YouTube when I began about 10 years ago. And you guys were discussing all these books, which I had heard about at one point or I did not. And I said, well, how do I get these? And of course, online is the only way to get them because even to this day, you rarely ever see them. But I really like them as I get older.
I've learned a lot from Terrence Comic Crack, whose comment is up right now.
No, he's one of the best here. I mean, he is. Yeah, he's unique. And
no, and I don't know him.
You need to subscribe to Comic Crack.
Oh, really? I thought you knew him.
I don't think so. So I'm definitely.
Look at my old videos. I used to do a hangout every Sunday with him.
Maybe I do, but
okay. I'm surprised to see everyone knows Terrence in our circle.
I'm so new to YouTube. I've only been doing it like a year and a half, I think.
Okay.
And there's so many people that have joined today that as soon as this is done, I'm going to be going to their channels to investigate. Yeah.
This came up because I was thinking about this morning because I sent an email to John's Comics with Kids because John did a short about X-Men, a new X-Men comic talking about Mystique and Destiny and the parenthood of Nightcrawler, and the new comic. But a couple of nights ago, there was a channel that was just furious at this, absolutely furious. They had a panel. It wasn't people in our circle. They were using expletives, and they kept using the word woke. They were furious with this book. And
which book, Monica?
No, not Monica. This new X-Men book, X-Men
Oh,
Origins.
new X-Men book. Sorry.
X-Men Origins. And since John did a short on that book discussing it in a positive way, but I had seen. Sometimes I'll watch. Sleepyreader knows. Sometimes I'll watch these reactionary channels. I get to check my blood pressure, and just to see what they're angry about, right? What they're angry about, and I'll watch them, and they were just pissed off about this book. But those channels, you can correct me here, Sleepyreader, Damien, is that when I started around 2013, that's when I emailed John, most of those type of channels really didn't exist. I mean, there were a few. There was a few speculator channels, a few slabbing channels. There was a few of these reactionary channels. It was mostly people like us discussing comics, the pull list, the panels. I mean, that's how I remember it. Is that correct?
Right. Yeah. I can't remember what year. I remember at first this guy who's now called your boy Zach.
Oh, he's from Texas.
And he used to be
he's
called,
from down. He's not from here. Continue. Yeah.
He had a different name, but after all his legal troubles, he changed his name. But he was the first one I saw. Like I remember clicking on a video that said, women don't actually buy comics. No women come into comic book shops.
It would be a Texan that would do this.
And then, so I took him seriously at that point and was like, wrote a comment kind of saying yes and no, that's partially true, partially not true. But after a few more videos, I realized there was no talking with him. And he went on to, crowdfund comics he was making for hundreds of thousands of dollars. So it became a money-making thing for him. And so I always think of him as the first one, but I don't know if you remember.
Was that around 2014, 2015? I want to say
probably around. I feel like we'd been on it for a few years before this started happening.
Okay. And
it took a while to understand what was going on. Like when Captain Cummings became one of them, I at first did not realize that, and tried to debate with him rationally about whether Marvel was all bad or there was some good and some bad there.
Okay. Now, it was just something when I emailed John about it, and I emailed him that YouTube channel, and of course he saw a little bit and he couldn't stomach it.
Right.
But it was visually the norm, what we do here. And but now it's all it's broken up into all these different pieces, and
it's fractured.
Yeah, fractured.
And new people like David, they don't necessarily see the same channels we do, even when they're reasonable from our point of view, or the old school.
I don't see many of these channels
and I've learned about new channels from David. So it's always spreading out further and further.
Yeah, like none of them come up in my feeds. I click on the ones that obviously, if I research, but I don't do that too often. And so I'm basically relying on the YouTube algorithm to like give me videos. And almost, I guess the algorithm favors newer users. So I do find a lot of newer comic book feeds, but none of the other ones.
Okay. That's probably a good thing. I mean, but I just do it. I mean, it's something that I just do. And I don't recommend people do this. It's going to just make you very angry. And sometimes I do comment on their channels, but I don't want to seem like a troll because they're going, who is this guy? But every once in a while, I do comment on them. And usually they ignore my comments. And or some will actually agree with my comment. Because the chat's always the worst. Because the YouTubers can get away with saying really outrageous things without crossing the line. But the chat crosses the line.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And in the early days, I got called a cuck and that I was lying and I knew I was wrong and I was saying it anyway. I was making facts up. But anyway,
that's when you the big time. When that happens, you know you made it. I'm waiting for that to happen to me.
No, I don't want to get sidetracked on that, but I just wanted to mention that. But
So
yeah,
I want to.
go back.
Daryl D mentions there's a store in Vegas called the Velvet Underground. So when we make that big Vegas trip, we'll have to remember that.
Oh wow, 35% underground. I can't imagine.
Daryl, do you live in Las Vegas? Because I'm not too far. In fact,
He
I'm
said
going.
he was recently told, so I assume he doesn't.
Daryl has a nice, but I think
because
I'm
going
the best Richard Corbin collection that I know of.
Yes, and we were mentioning earlier that he's just did a video about Prince bootlegs. That was really cool.
Oh, I have to watch that one. I haven't seen that.
I haven't heard of that channel. Josh Pettinger. I've gotten some of his comics. None of those CGC guys' books are readable. Who in their right mind would like Cyber Frog?
I know.
Yeah, well, you have to pay a lot of money to read those books, so I've never read them.
Yeah, they're expensive. I mean, they swim in their own bitterness, and and sometimes I don't know what I find more disturbing, that they actually believe what they say. Oh, Phoenix, believe what they say, or what's worse, that, or that they don't believe what they say, but they like the monetization, and they like the subscribers and the amount of people that they have watching their channel. So, when in fact they don't actually believe any of this.
It's probably easy to believe in it if it makes you a lot of money.
Yeah, they're incredibly successful, absolutely insanely successful. I probably get them because if I click on one, they'll show up in my algorithm, and every once in a while I'll just click on them just to check on them, see how bitter and angry they are, and then I'll watch them. But I'm around that environment here where I live, so it kind of confirms my worst suspicions, what's going on in different pockets of the country.
Right.
Because basically I focus on politics a lot, and I don't discuss them on my channel. But these are all basically what they are. They're political channels in many ways. And but from almost like a very dark area, I think. I mean, much darker area. It goes beyond Republicans and Democrats. It goes something deeper, like a cancer in us, I think, which is very dangerous. Yeah. Anyway.
Well, I feel like we live in an era of anger in many different ways. But let's go back to comic books a little bit. But Paulo, I just thought this is interesting. But YouTube isn't a social network, but I do use it as a social network.
Yeah.
If my channel got too big, it would ruin it, I guess.
Yeah, small following. Yeah, that's true about Paulo, what he said. Yeah. Yeah.
I want to comment about Paulo. Wait, go back. Paulo's avatar. Number one, he's pointing at me. And so I was like, that is awesome. But I want to zoom in and see what is in his glasses. He's looking at something in his glasses, and I want to see what they are. You can see it in his glasses.
I can't zoom in here, but you can do it afterwards.
I was just like, what is he looking at?
You could try putting it on a big screen TV and see.
Probably the camera, yeah.
He's probably watching some kind of racing event because he's a.
But I love it. He's
a writer, sports.
He's a writer about race cars.
Yeah.
He's making me take note.
Mango Chat.
That was a new one.
I haven't heard of that channel.
There was another user. His icon was new. Two back. Oh well, we lost it. He had like a man face.
Shout for comics.
Yeah,
I see him a lot on Instagram. He does cartoons of everyone that he knows in the YouTube comic book community. He did me as the Vision.
Oh. I'd be Rip Van Winkle, I guess. Sasquatch.
Alien Worlds in San Antonio has a big batch of undergrounds, but they don't want to put them out.
Oh.
So if you go up to the counter and ask for them, will they let you see them, Donald? I wonder.
Yeah, is that how they do it?
Where does Donald is a fellow Texan. Are you aware of his channel?
Yes, I think because he's been with you all. I think he's been with Terrence. But I had forgotten he was San Antonio.
Shown up, I think, on the chats since I retired from that. He says he's sorry the pic is too small.
He's had that avatar since
it'll be forever a mystery. He probably doesn't even know.
No, Paulo's also very good. He doesn't make great videos, but whenever he's on, he's very insightful. He's very knowledgeable about international comics and American comics, actually. He knows American comics really well.
So if you go to that shop in San Antonio, ask for Jetty.
Oh, yeah.
Jerry.
And if Jetty's not there, just leave.
That's for Jerry, not for Jetty.
Oh, for
We'll end
Jared.
up on a spiral jetty somewhere.
Hmm.
So, Gore, do you have any stuff you wanted to show us, or should we go back to Dave?
I can show you. Well, I don't have any comics handy, but I've been buying some stuff. Well, just getting a few things, movies and books, if that's okay.
Yeah, no, we
That's
were going to
awesome.
do books.
We have books too.
And movies are great. Great. Yeah.
Well, I was going to mention, did you guys see who won the Booker Prize last week?
Yes.
I did not. Who was it?
I forget his name, but I think it was like
Paul
something
Lynch.
like Paul. Yeah.
The reason I thought about you guys, should have emailed you, is because it's a science fiction novel.
Ooh.
But I don't think this one was nominated for the Hugo. Was it, David?
No,
No.
it wasn't on our list.
So this is a science fiction novel by Paul Lynch. He's some young writer. It takes place in Ireland, and where basically an authoritarian government's starting to creep in. The people and there's riots and stuff taking place, and there's ID checks and such.
Don't spoil.
And well, that's so much. That basically that was the premise of the book, and
It's dystopian.
dystopian book, yeah. But I remember I was watching it was on YouTube, the live stream when he won, and he gets up there and he talks, and I remember I commented on there saying, this reminded me of V for Vendetta, and I mean just because that took place in the early '80s in England, and same premise. But I was wondering, this book was not nominated, I don't think, for a Hugo or any of the science fiction awards that I know of, but it wins the Booker Prize. I just found that curious. Any thoughts? I guess David,
who published it and how was it published? Maybe the science fiction fans haven't discovered it yet.
I don't know who. I think it was a major publisher. I think it wasn't his first novel. He's written at least one or two other novels, I think.
And was it published in the U.S. before it won the award?
That's a good question. I don't know if it's published here. Maybe not. You might be right. Maybe not. No.
Yeah, so definitely
the Hugo is the fan award, right? So it has to be people who went to the World Science Fiction Convention the year before. They have to be knowledgeable about that book.
I see. Okay.
So, and they tends to be mostly American fans, although it's a worldwide thing, so it could be fans from anywhere.
Okay. No, I just wanted to mention that. And David, do you have anything to say about that book? What do you know about it?
I do. Not about that book specifically, but what the crux of this issue is. I still think that there's a huge divide between science fiction and literature, like quote unquote literature. And so you're going to get these very literate books, but they're not going to be considered. They'll be considered science fiction secondary, but more literature first. Whereas Hugo is definitely in the field of science fiction, and they can possibly cross over into literature. Like there's been a few authors who have done that, right? Like Ursula K. Le Guin. She's recognized as a major literary figure.
Right, but she came from science fiction, so science fiction readers know about her.
I think that's the issue, right? Because
it's the label that you're published under.
Prizes. Yeah, plenty of Booker Prizes that could be put under science fiction.
Right.
Like
the publishers of Ishiguro, who's done science fiction, they don't want him labeled as science fiction.
He's done fantasy, he's done dystopian, he's done, but that's not what the book is really about. It'll be set.
But there may be stuff labeled science fiction that is similarly like his, but it's like the publisher's strategy of how they're going to market it.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I don't know the exact rules. So, for example, I know there are all these rules like, you have to have been published in this date, and it has to be in this country. And but they
don't have to have been marketed as science fiction to be nominated for these awards.
No, but there have been American, like they've opened it up, and I believe Ann Tyler is an American author, so she was nominated, whereas before it was only British and what they call Commonwealth, I guess.
Right.
So, but now it's been opened up to Canadians and Americans, and you're starting to see more of those authors in the Booker. So I don't understand why an American science fiction writer, is the guy who won, like Paul, is he American? Is that what you said?
No, he's from Ireland.
So I don't know if Hugos are specifically American or not. So that's another thing.
Hugos are international.
But they have to be in English?
No, they just the voters are fans who went to the convention. Most of the conventions take place in the US, not always. So
That
the
was a 3D
fans
balloon
tend to
effect.
be, the voters tend to be American readers on the whole.
I'm just saying, I still think that there's a huge divide between these audiences. And I don't know why, like books like these should bridge those gaps. Like, for
But I'm
example,
saying, I theorize it's mostly the publishers doing, not the fans or the writers doing.
yeah, it could be. Yeah.
I know with some of these, like Ishiguro, for example, and I think if you start out as just a straight drama literary writer and you get recognition, then you write a genre book, then it's okay, right? And versus
But
if
they
you
don't want to call you genre even when you write it.
right, this is like, it's almost like saying
their way, your audience, your main audience,
right,
label.
I label it, and also there's a sense of if there is an issue that maybe you have a view, if it's science fiction or fantasy or horror, it's not at the same plane of literary merit, then you could say, yeah, but he's written all these other books too, right? And that's sort of seeing things.
And people are comforted by saying, well, it's not really science fiction. That's not what it's really about. Even though that's true of plenty of things that are marketed as science fiction also. They're really about, rarely are they just about how a spaceship works, for instance.
Still very niche.
It is very niche. And I know with Neil Gaiman, we all know he started with comics. And but then his novel, people that just read his novels don't read his comics. I mean, some of them don't. And but Neil doesn't have an issue with it at all. I don't think his publisher does, but there is that, like, a chasm between these two worlds that it's tough to bridge. But regarding books that I got, I just wanted to show this off. This is by Sam Shepard. This is the Motel Chronicles, and also has Hawk Moon. But the reason I got it is because, as you guys can see here, that's Harry Dean Stanton from Paris, Texas. And Motel Chronicles was the book that Wim Wenders, the director of Paris, Texas, carried with him when he was traveling all over the U.S., because he lived in the U.S. for about 8 years. And he wanted to make a movie. And so he was inspired by the stories here by Sam Shepard. And he wrote a screenplay. He gave it to Sam. And because Sam had given him a photocopy of this before it had been published. And Sam says, this script is not going to work. So they gave it back to him. And Wim Wenders writes a quarter of a strip, which became Paris, Texas. And then he asked Sam to help him with it, and he did. And then Shepard worked on him just a little bit, but then he fell in love with Jessica Lange. And by falling in love with Jessica Lange, he had to move away. He went up north. And so Wim was trying to complete the film, but he couldn't complete it. He had trouble with it. And finally, he just contacts Sam Shepard and says, I need help with this. And over a couple of nights, you've seen the film, Sam Shepard dictates the last 30 minutes of the film, which are extraordinary. So he dictates over the phone, and we get Paris, Texas. But I wanted to read the short stories here that Wim Wenders was carrying with him when he was traveling the States, including Texas and Southwest. And he wrote that, he co-wrote that beautiful film with Shepard.
Yeah, I love that movie. So is that on your to be read pile?
I've been reading, because they're really short, the stories. Some of them are just like a page or two, and it has like photographs and such.
So you're in the middle of it.
In the middle of it, yeah. But I've read other stories by Shepard. I've liked him for a long time. And actually, it's an interesting about Wenders and Shepard. He said at one point he wanted to cast Sam Shepard in a movie he was going to do about called Hammett. I think it was based on Dashiell Hammett. And but the studios, this is before, I think, The Right Stuff. Because as we all know, Sam Shepard started out as a playwright back in the 60s. And the studio says, no, we need he's just a playwright. He's not a real actor. And he couldn't convince studios to do this. It was insane. And then he did Days of Heaven, and then he did The Right Stuff. But by this time, Wim Wenders already cast somebody else and such. But I never thought of it that way. We're so used to Sam Shepard, the actor. We've seen him on screen until he passed away. That the studios had issues with him at one point as a lead in a film. So, yeah.
Yeah, that is interesting. Anything else you want to show at the moment?
No. Oh, let's go ahead and quickly discuss this one here. This is the miniseries, Dr. Zhivago. This is with Keira Knightley. Many people are not familiar with this miniseries.
I didn't realize they'd done that.
Keira was like 17 or 18 when they did this, and she plays Lara. And it came out in 2001 or 2, I think. I remember seeing it on Masterpiece Theater when it showed here. And I think all of us here have seen the original, and with David Lean. And I've read the novel. It's one of my favorite books by Pasternak. And this miniseries is wonderful. And the ending is extremely and wonderfully painful. In the David Lean film, it's more anticlimactic. This one's interesting because if you read the book, it ends with the poems. The Zhivago was a poet, right? I mean, yeah, he was a doctor and also a poet. But when the novel finishes, you read the poems that Zhivago wrote about his relationship with Lara. And it's a beautiful epilogue of like 20 poems.
I didn't realize that.
And that's why the novel has just resonates so well with me and so many others. But this is available, I think, on BritBox. I'm not sure if it's on Amazon. But the music to this is just like in the David Lean film. I forget who did the music for that. Is perfect. So I highly recommend the miniseries Dr. Zhivago. If you like the original, or you haven't seen the original or read the book, I think you'll enjoy this. That's
gonna bug me because the guy who wrote the score for that is so famous. And Miklos Rocha, was it? No.
Who is it? Jarre? Jarre?
Jarre. I thought it was Rosa, Miklos Rocha. But like one of those sweeping epic scores, like he's so important. Like, and he was all over. I'm gonna look it up. You two talk. I have to know what that is because that's gonna bug the hell out.
On what we were talking about previously, Paulo makes a good point. Genre has conventions, and real writers in quotes don't like the rules. They may not even know about the rules, the quote rules. I mean, rules are made to be broken, I would say. But
you were right, Maurice Jarre.
When I hear descriptions of literary award winners, I wonder what's the book about anyway. Rules give you something to write about. I mean, that is true, and that's why, like, I like the science fiction that's building on other science fiction that came before it.
Yes.
But there's a lot of different ways to write science fiction, and I still think a lot of it has to do with marketing by publishers. Once they decide you have a fantasy and science fiction audience, they don't think you're going to be able to have a literary audience. And once you have a literary audience, they think you'll lose them if you become a science fiction.
Yeah, I think so. I don't think so.
I'll spell it in a second.
Jean-Michel Jarre, that's a familiar name. Yeah, he had some hits, I think, in the 70s or something off of movie soundtracks. Okay, I think it's David's turn. You have some books to show us, David, or comics?
It's Maurice. I'm not going to spell that. And then Jarre is Jarre.
Okay.
So right, maybe no,
I have 2 stacks of books to show you, but I brought a surprise for you, and I didn't tell you about this because I know your feelings on this. This is something that you don't like, but
is this
so you can't do anything about it.
Is this Saga? I'm leaving.
Will I cry?
No, because I didn't do this with you in mind. But if I knew you'd be here, I would have done that too. No, so I recently have dipped my toes into
slabs. No, not a slab.
And I showed you this one, and I bought this one, and I was going to give this to you as a present. And what did you say to me? You're like, I'm just going to crack it open and smash it and take the book out. And I was like, oh no, hell no, I'm not sending it to you.
If you want an unslabbing video, send me a
concrete.
So I'm dipping my toes into these slabs because of you, Sleepy Reader. You sent me my comic shop auctions And now I'm buying all these auctions. And so
I wasn't recommending the auctions. I was recommending cheap filler issues.
I don't associate Sleepyreader with flabbed books.
No, but he was buying comics, and they do comics, they do lots, and they do slabs, and they auction them. And the thing about what I do is I don't care if it's a lower grade or if it's from the company that isn't as popular. I just want the book looking very nice. So people want these books at like a 9.5, 9.4, 9.6, 9.8, and I can get an 8.0 that to me looks beautiful at a very cheap price. So I offered to give you this one as a gift, and you said you would smash it. So I was like, no.
Well, so you bought that for less than it costs to slab a book.
Yes, I did.
So
I think
in that sense, you got a fantastic deal. But
I think I paid $16 or $18 for it.
Oh wow!
Yeah. And so I'm going to show you a couple. There's 9 total. So I got this beautiful Batman at an 8.0. Look, that's Jim Aparo, I think. So there, gorgeous cover. Here we have, I got 3 Teen Titans. I'm a huge fan of Prez and the Teen Titans because I grew up on this stuff. I absolutely love them. So I have 3. I should take them out of these stupid bags. I have these. They look much better out of the bags. So I got 3 Teen Titans to show. I'm going to go through them very quickly because I'm building to something. There's another Teen Titans. Yeah, like, see, that's a 9.2.
These are all great comics to unslab. Then you can read them.
No, I've read them, and I have the collected editions. I'm buying them for the
even
art.
Just flipping through them and seeing the old letters pages and the ads.
But I have the comics.
Smelling the past come off of them.
I have these. I have the comics already.
There's someone who calls them plastic coffins for comics.
But listen, I'm not like these key people. I buy a lot of comics for the displayableness of it, of the art of it. I know.
I just have to attack them anyway.
So I do have individual issues, but I mean, look at how gorgeous these things look.
It's the 7th sign.
Okay, hold on. I've got 4 more. You got to suffer through, but we're building to something here. So look at this. I got a 5. It's 5 points.
Can I ask, does a slab make you happier than just putting a comic in a top loader?
I don't put comics in top loaders. The thing is, I got this in a slab.
I love that cover, by the way. Yeah.
I think I got this cheaper than I would have gotten the original comic. This is Super Villain Team Up #1. Now, so supposedly this is 5.0. I'm sorry, but that comic looks gorgeous. I don't see anything wrong to make that a mid-grade comic to me. There are a little bit, but I mean, this is a gorgeous displayable piece of art.
Lorenzo backs you up here, so you're in good company.
Yeah, thank you, Lorenzo.
Who is this man?
Wait, I got 3 more. Don't run away. 3 more. You got to suffer through 3. But they're falling over, so I got to fix them. I can't leave them.
I'm shaking with anger, but I'm still here.
The next one is one of my childhood kind of grails. I already have this. I have 2 copies of this. I have the original. I have the reprint, the facsimile, and now I've got a slab.
Hey, the Micronauts.
That I can display. Look at that gorgeous. That's my childhood right there. Come on. I don't think I can't get that to be.
The interiors are nicer than the cover.
They actually are. Yeah, that cover is.
But I've got 2 copies of it. I've got an older copy that is of its time, and I've got a pristine facsimile edition that I could look at, and now I've got a slab. I won't convince you, but I got 2 more.
I am very glad they make you happy.
Put me back.
But if you send any to me, I will unslab them. It might make a fun video.
Put me back. I'm not done.
Sorry.
I got 2 more.
I thought you were done.
I got this amazing Spider-Man at 2.5. I got this ridiculously cheap. This is one of those, come on, it's the Gwen Stacy, the Clone Saga, the Jackal. That stuff was amazing. And finally,
Madness. Complete madness.
Madness. I bought this one for you. And now this one.
He's going to have to open it, Damien.
No. Look.
Oh, boy.
It's OMAC.
Yeah, he's going to have to open it. He loves opening.
He has it already.
I have 3 copies
single
of it.
issue. He's got the collected edition. There is no reason you need to open this up except
Send it to Hollerman.
Have it to display. I bought that for you, and there's no reason for you to open this up. Is there?
He does have a point. Yeah, he does.
You're
He's
right,
put you in a
but I would
spot.
still open it up.
I'm not giving it to you if you say that. I
That's
bought this
fine.
one for you because I
That's
know you
awesome.
love Jack Kirby art, and this is an art
I
piece.
do.
It's not a reader copy.
Oh, my God.
This is an art piece. It's not a reader copy. You don't like it? If you say you're going to
got me over a
up,
barrel
I'm
here
not
because I
sending
hate
it to you.
slabs. I do love that comic book.
You know,
Well, you
Damien,
have to make a decision because if you
I
tell
mean,
me you're opening
I'm
it up,
like
I'm not giving it.
when Captain Kirk gets some computer to overload because his logic circuits can't deal with the.
That's yours if the
Indie
attitude is.
Comics, Lorenzo, Indie Comics and Reviews, is impressed by the deals you've gotten. Daryl D stands with me. Yes, we're standing strong. No slabs.
You know, Damien, you and I have 20 years or so, and he's just David. You've only been on YouTube less than 2 years, and you've already been seduced by the dark side of the slab.
I have been.
How is this possible? How does this happen?
Because I collect for a different reason. I read. I get my collected edition.
I know you're a reader. You're a very good reader.
I have
Dedicated.
single issues because I love the art. Yes, I can look through them, but I don't necessarily read the single issues. I read them in the collected editions. For me, they're art pieces that I can
understand your reason for getting slabs, and I like the idea of displaying them. So that is awesome. But somehow it just, I don't like the comics wrapped in plastic or encased.
This was a gift, though. You have to.
G. Sorry.
Comic Crack has made good money slabbing the right comics.
Yeah, he has.
And I'm the one that buys the ones that are wrong. Like people send them in, and it's a mystery.
Right, you're buying some speculators heartbreak.
Yes, they want to get rid of them because it didn't pan out for them.
Right.
Like nobody wants an 8.5; they want a 9. So I have to know if you're going to accept this gift. I love the covers of
comic books, but for me, if I had to choose, I would choose comics with no covers and all interior, over comics with no interior and all covers.
I'm going to say no. Oh, wait. Where's my concrete? If you're going to be showing that off, mine looks better.
Mine's all wrinkly. Mine's been through a lot.
Look at this. And look, the back cover too, you get to see. This is so cool. So
Howler Mouse will break it open.
See, you're breaking Howler Mouse's heart with that.
Howler Mouse is even a bigger fan of OMAC than Sleepyreader.
But I also have that single issue. I have the collected editions, which I just reviewed, and you sent me the collected edition because you have other versions of the. So why not have this beautiful piece of art?
I blame Brian K. Vaughan. I mean, obviously, this somehow Brian K. Vaughan has seeped into this.
But I'm not obsessing over them. Indie comics. I own.
Yeah, no, you're not one of the ones who obsess over. And Lorenzo collects a few slabs too. He likes them, but so he's not criticizing all people who like slabs.
And actually, I bought 4 for my husband. I found 3 Wonder Woman and a Darkwing Duck, and he's got them on his wall, and he loves them. They're gorgeous. They're for him. They're like,
yeah, I agree with Daryl. Take the gift, David. Yeah,
take the gift, but I'm not giving it to him if he's going to smash it open.
No, I don't think he will, David. No, he won't.
Well, he said he would. So he's
just winding you up.
He's got a vow.
I would be very tempted to smash it.
He's gonna have
it.
I
knew it would break your heart, I guess I would not.
Okay, let's move on to books. Let's go.
He's gonna have it displayed.
We're already 2
I
hours.
think you're up next.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
how low?
That'll be new. People will start slabbing trades.
How low? Which version of the Demon paperback do you have? Because that one's eluding me. I need the one that has the black banner that says Jack Kirby. I've got my collection right there. Oh,
Well, you want all of the ones that come from his 75th or 100th anniversary series.
And that one is, I don't have it.
I just wanted to say hi to Nick. He's been commenting. He's a great guy. He has a great review channel. He reviews new comics. That's his main gig.
Oh, can I say one more thing about Chadwick then?
Sure. Yeah.
So my husband likes Mighty Mouse a lot. So on Whatnot, I got a Mighty Mouse comic for him. I wish I had it to show you, but the art was by what's his name? Chadwick.
Paul Chadwick.
Paul Chadwick.
It's a gorgeous
Wow.
comic.
I didn't know he did Mighty Mouse.
Mighty Mouse. Please look it up, somebody. It's gorgeous. And
Someone told me he's going to come back and do more concrete. I can't remember.
Oh, wow.
Who said that? I hope they're right.
I wanted to keep
I don't know.
but I had to give it to my husband.
I love collecting concrete, and I get it all out of dollar boxes and 50-cent boxes.
I rarely come across concrete here.
Yeah. I never do.
It's hard to find. They're all in miniseries. It's hard to find the complete miniseries. I may have to buy one or two from my comic shop. Not Slab, though. His demon is yellow, so sorry about that.
Oh,
okay. I'm going to show a few more books, some more comics.
Okay,
go for it.
Some of these are from mycomicshop.com, some from local shops. Some of these, there was a lot of these Conan graphic novels. And some of them are hard to find, or the prices are quite high in my local shops. So I got this from mycomicshop.com. This one is written by Doug Monch and drawn by Paul Galassi, who are one of my favorite Bronze Age teams. So I'm excited to see how they do Conan.
Wait, that cover looks like it was faded by the sun.
It does, but I think it's on purpose, which might be a bad choice, actually, the green and yellow.
That's a sickly, yeah. Are you sure that one really? I'm always...
Maybe if I got a slabbed copy, it would be perfect, and then I would know.
They would know. I don't know why you're slab bashing toward me. I'm not a slab like pusher.
No, you're not a pusher.
The colors inside are less faded looking.
Oh, that's nice art actually in the interior.
Paul Galassi is most famous for his Master of Kung Fu run. Mm-hmm. He also, I think, was the original artist on Saber, which I think Gore has talked about in the past.
No, I haven't discussed. I think Tim and Terrence has discussed it, but I'm familiar with it, though. Yeah.
And here's one called Conan of the Isles.
That's nice.
Oh, that's Gary B
nice
just featured this one, and I commented on it because the colors on that thing.
Who featured it?
Gary B in one of his shorts.
Oh,
he
okay.
Does Conan
that
comic
makes
a
sense.
day.
Yeah.
How much was that? If you come across more of those, if they're $1.
No. This is this.
No, I know.
At my local shops, this was like $40 or $50.
Jesus.
Oh.
I think I got it for a bit less online, but it was not cheap.
Oh my God.
Maybe $25.
Well, if you find them for $1, I want them. Though that looks like reprints. Buscema.
This is John Buscema
as
his penciler, but 4 different inkers. So
there's probably 4 different stories in it then, right?
Maybe. I'm not sure.
Those look like reprints.
It's an original graphic novel, and I know Conan of the Isles was a Conan novel, not by Robert E. Howard, but by someone else. Is it based on it? Maybe not. Oh, yeah. Adapted from the novel by Elsbrog de Camp and Lynn Carter.
Okay.
So it is a whole novel adaptation.
That cover is stunning.
And then I don't know what this is. I mean, I've never seen this before, but I think I just stumbled across it on the website on mycomicshop.com. And it's Denny O'Neil and Mike Kaluta doing a graphic novel of The Shadow.
It's nice.
And they did a run at DC of The Shadow, but this is published by Marvel.
Look at that hidden swastika behind. Is that a swastika behind him?
Maybe.
I think so.
Look at that.
The era.
That's another thing now. People just get upset if you put the swastika on anything, even though it's a villain. Like, you're just not supposed to show the swastika at all.
At my local shop, there's a guy who buys comics that have swastikas on the cover.
It's a thing on Whatnot.
Oh, really?
Yep. They announce it like as if we couldn't see it. Oh, here's the swastika cover. Grab it, guys. And then Bondage is a big one.
Yeah, bondage has been popular with a certain segment for a long time for people. Yeah.
And what they used to, I haven't heard it mentioned so much anymore, but headlight comics, ones where the boobs are very prominent.
Headlight comic.
I'm a Valentina guy, so those are not very prominent boobs.
You like them more moderate sized, eh?
Yes,
So,
reasonable, yes.
The art in this one is a little bit more subdued compared to the Conan, but
yeah,
that's very nice. Kaluta is fantastic.
It says 1941. Actually, so the title is The Shadow 1941. So it makes sense he'd be fighting Nazis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then this, I haven't looked inside this at all. This was a cover by. This is a Frank Frazetta painting I've never seen before.
Wow.
On the cover of National Lampoon.
Oh my goodness.
And I think they're going to be spoofing Weird Tales and other spicy pulps.
How much did you pay for that? I'm curious. Do you remember? About.
I think it was $12.
Okay, that's definitely worth it.
I've seen that pic somewhere before, but not on Lampoon.
Yeah. I mean, most Frazetta paintings get reprinted somewhere or many places.
Yeah.
But this one was not familiar to me, and I was just shocked to see it on National Lampoon.
That's cool.
And here's a comic from Ripoff Press. I think it's one of their later comics before they went out of business.
Rock and roll. Look at that. That is weird.
So
it reminds me of Crumb or the Freak Brothers. I mean, look at that.
Yeah, it does look. It looks like Crumb and the Freak Brothers together.
Or the Garbage Pail
like
Kids.
The Freak Brothers back there, but it looks like a Crumb drawing.
Look at that audience.
It makes me think of the band oh shoot, now I forgot the
Ramones.
Name. No, they're like the Ramones, but they're more rockabilly with a weird
Stray Cats.
Weird frontman.
Cramps.
The Cramps. It makes me think of the Cramps.
Yeah. That is an awesome book.
And then there's this I forget, it doesn't say the name of the publisher on the cover. There was this really creepy publisher who was imitating Eerie and Creepy. And this is my first one of their magazines.
Whoa.
I think they were Eerie publications. And so I bought this from my local comic book shop.
I'm getting FOMO right now.
So I think the art on the inside is not very exciting, but it's incredible.
Those are better than my slabs. You're upstaging me.
That's my job in life, to upstage you.
You always do. You brat.
I can't. Actually, the art inside doesn't look too bad.
No, it's beautiful.
I know that the publisher Warren was very upset when some of his artists went and did work for Eerie Publications, because he said, I created this market. I put all the hard work into it, and now they're just riding on my coattails.
Well, that always happens. You gotta plan for that. That's why you always got to be at the top of your game and be better.
Tim Howlermouse is right. That was very Basil Wolverton, that image. And the Cramps. Eerie Publications, yes. And I need to get one of those, the things that show all the covers, because the covers are the best part of the Eerie Publications.
What did you just say?
We've talked about those before.
You're buying them for the covers. Displayable art.
That's terrible. Next thing you know, I'll be slabbing them.
No.
Slab it.
I'm sure Bill, Comic Mag Musings, has some slab ones. Comics Review. This is like the current issue. I was shocked they still do it. It reprints old newspaper strips. That looks like the Phantom, is it?
Lee Falk's the Phantom?
Yeah, there we go.
Ah, the Phantom.
So I didn't know that when I was a kid, there were all these things that reprinted comic strips, but I didn't know they were still going. There was a 50% off sale because the cover price is $20. But
that's a great deal. $10 is a great deal.
Okay, I'm worried this is going to upset you, David, because I know that you want Deadly Hands of Kung Fu.
Oh wow!
Look at that.
That's Roger Moore, as painted by Neil Adams, fighting a sumo.
It's supposed to be Roger Moore.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sumo and various other.
It is Roger Moore.
Yeah,
that's a great comic.
Roger Moore, more athletic than he ever looked before. James Bond invades the martial arts. A critical.
We have to tango with those Bond girls. You have to have some kind of aestheticism.
Yes.
Jane Seymour, Barbara Bach, to name some.
Does it take a lot of meditation to sleep with these beautiful women?
It does.
You have to be balanced and centered.
You have to get in the zone. It's all about the hands.
You're my expert on that.
I wouldn't know.
Is a heavy metal graphic novel?
Never seen that before.
The same 50% off sale. I don't know what I paid for it, but it's very little, so I thought I'd give it a try. I think it's from the 90s when heavy metal was on a low spell. But
they probably have a lower print run, so it can make those worth even more. Ooh, look at that interior art.
Who did that?
Better than the cover.
It doesn't look like it's all one artist, is it?
Well, it's probably
it's a graphic novel, but it's not. Look at the list of people. So it's got Jim Fletcher, Rick Geary, Peter Cooper, Mark Pasella, Kenneth Smith, Arthur Sudam, and Michael Uman.
Oh, sweet.
So it's not really a graphic novel, even though it's...
Or his artwork is amazing.
Or they're all sort of jamming off of each other, perhaps, each taking a chapter. I'm not sure.
Huh.
Look at that. Psychedelic.
Very nice.
One more. Oh, two more. This will also to make David feel FOMO.
Look at how cool that is.
That's another Neil Adams painting. I don't know if you guys remember Billy Jack. I barely remember.
Yeah, I saw Billy Jack in the theater.
And I think kids used to be talking about Billy Jack movies, but my parents wouldn't let me see them.
Yeah,
this one asks a moral question. Look at it. Martial arts mayhem or moral violence. They're getting philosophical on this issue.
Right. Well, Billy Jack fought for causes, right?
Yeah.
There was a whole series of Billy Jack movies, but you really don't hear about them anymore.
No, I just know about the film, the first one.
Yeah. And I think the star of Billy Jack was wrote and produced and directed the movies himself. I read about him somewhere. He ended up bankrupt, but he fought the Hollywood system and did it all on his own.
Huh. Didn't know that about him.
Deadly Hands always advertised the non-comics content on the cover, right? They had the thing I don't like about Deadly Hands is they had these long, very long filler articles that usually were not that interesting, unfortunately. Is that Julie Strain? I don't know Julie Strain.
I don't know who that is either.
I don't see a signature on the cover. Maybe it says it's cover by Olivia. She's probably a fantasy artist who was popular at the time.
That's what it is. That's right, Olivia. I used to have a T-shirt, just kind of looks like that, by Olivia.
Another painting by Olivia that looked similar.
Yeah, now that's what it reminded me of. I used to have a T-shirt in the 90s.
And the final thing, and I got this, I'm sad to say for David Chelsea, I got this for $1.
That's okay.
Well, I met David Chelsea at a zine fest, and I thought he was a superstar of autobio comics, but I guess his career didn't really take off. But he was well known for a while for this David Chelsea in Love, and this is issue number 1.
There's a lot of fluids flying around on that cover, and then there's someone peeping.
Peeping? Oh, back then.
What is this all about? I don't know.
So when I met him, I said, "Oh, are you David Chelsea in Love?" And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "What have you done lately?" And he said, "Well, all my girlfriends after I did David Chelsea in Love requested I do never put them in a comic book." So, but then he didn't answer me what he had been doing all that time. But he was. So this is what the interior artwork looks like. So it's a very kind of almost embarrassingly honest story of his relationships and their failures.
Wow. You got a really nice collection of eclectic magazines there.
Yeah, Philip Roth would do that in his novels.
Right. And I heard that none of who's the contemporary Philip Roth? Damn it. Who wrote Rabbits Run? John Updike. None of John Updike's relatives would talk to him because they were tired of finding themselves in his novels.
That I didn't know. So Rabbit Run, all that
Philip Roth put everything in his novels, especially early on.
Yeah, that got him in trouble because I remember it was the early 90s, and I think Claire Bloom, who was then his wife, was I'd written a memoir, and in it, she chronicled, because she was divorced now from him, is that one of his latest novels that he's writing about is about a writer with his wife, and the wife doesn't know he's having an affair with some younger woman. But it basically chronicled exactly what Philip Roth was doing.
Wow.
And I've only read a couple of his novels. He doesn't engage me, but he's very popular. I mean, among the literary set, and I just hear it in Latin America.
I love
Oh, you like Philip Roth?
love.
Portnoy's Complaint and all, and even in the early
I love
2000s,
the early novels.
Yeah.
I would watch Charlie Rose, and one day I see Penelope Cruz, and he's asking Penelope who her favorite writers are. Oh, I love Philip Roth. And I go, oh my God. And Carlos Fuentes, great Mario Carlos. Carlos was good friends with him. I think he dedicated a short story or book to Philip Roth. Or I think he was still with Claire, because I think it's dedicated to Philip Roth and Claire. And so, yeah. But to be fair, just to make clear, though, his personal life, as long as you make good stories, doesn't matter what you do with your personal life. But I just remember that about Philip Roth, and I read Claire Bloom's memoir, and I happen to like Claire Bloom.
Well, there was a short novel by him called The Ghost Writer, about someone who goes to visit his favorite writer.
His first book.
That's not
his first book.
I believe it's his first.
No.
Sleepy, 2 against 1.
Well, look it up. I know I'm right.
I thought Portnoy's Complaint was his first book.
Not Portnoy's Complaint is his first book either, but his first famous book. But Ghost
made it
Writer
famous.
starred this character Zuckerman, and there was a trilogy of Zuckerman books.
Okay.
And then he brought back Zuckerman in his later novels.
I think the last book I read with him was The Breast. It was early 90s. The title engaged me, The Breast. So.
He meets his favorite writer, who has an assistant who he starts to suspect is actually Anne Frank. And
Yeah.
that was really cool.
But you just spoiled it.
Uh-oh.
It's such
an
amazing book, but you shouldn't spoil it, because that's part of what makes it so good.
I'm a bad person.
I was not going to say that. I was just like, you really, really need to read this book. It is really, really good. It's really good. And it was the first one I'd ever read by him. But I'll
have to delete this whole YouTube video then.
I guess it wasn't his first book. You're right.
What was his first book?
His first book was kind of dull.
Let me see. Writing career. It's not a list.
He's trying to be more the normal writer of the 50s at first.
He had a room in the back of his house, and he would stand as he would write.
So I don't know. It's got him in a list. Zuckerman novels, Zuckerman bound, and the first one, it's a series of 4 or 5. And the Ghost Writer was written in 1979, and then, The Breast was 1972. The Professor, so it definitely wasn't his first book. Oh well,
I didn't know The Breast was that old.
Yeah, I think Portnoy's Complaint was from the late 60s. But
yeah, I just closed. I could look it up, but yeah, I was wrong. It wasn't his first, but it was definitely the first one I read, and it captivated me. It was so good. And I remember the main character, he was so regimented in his writing. Like, he had to sit for like 5 hours every day and write. I just remember that character. He just came to life for me. That guy's a good writer, but he is often criticized because they say that he can't write female characters well, but I don't remember that. I haven't read something by him in ages, but everything that I read by him, I really liked. But I'm not a woman, so there you have it, right?
No, he's very popular with women. Women writers really like him, not just Penelope. And I watch interviews with Latin American writers, Mexican authors. When I talk about American writers, he comes up. And he's like Larry McMurtry. They all think he writes women really well.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, not to do with the Latin American liking of him, but I think it can depend which of his novels you hit first. That may affect your reaction to him, and maybe what age you are. Like, when I read Portnoy's Complaint, I was 20, so I was impressed by all of its.
I was very young when I read the
Confessions. But,
very young.
So we have been on a long time. Gore, is there more you would like to show?
Just 2 quick that I got recently. I'll be quick about it. One of them, those of you who are Cormac McCarthy fans, There's a new edition of Blood Meridian that was done by the Modern Library edition. Modern Library editions are always really nice.
Yep.
Now, there was an early 2000s edition of this, and it was a smaller size. But this came out, I think, last year.
Gorgeous.
And yeah, basically, the way I describe basically this is if you've seen the movie Apocalypse Now, and you meet Kurtz and his men, basically, if you ever wondered, well, we know the men and Kurtz did incredible, horrible things, but it's never really described in the film. Read this, and this is about a gang that basically the Glanton gang, real life Glanton gang here in Texas, who got hired initially, I think, by the Mexican government to deal with the Indian problem, I think in northern Mexico, and they would pay them by the scalps. And so what they did was they had the bloodlust, and they would just kill anybody that walked. And after that, they got their money, but then they continued going on this rampage throughout. And there's a character here called the Judge, who is very much like Kurtz, as portrayed by Marlon Brando in Apocalypse Now. He's very philosophical. He's brilliant. He's dangerous. You read the things that he says. Some of them are very disturbing, but they're very true to human nature. So it's difficult to dismiss him. I read this book in the early 2000s for the first time. He was very popular among the literary circle I knew in Austin, and All the Pretty Horses and those books. And All the Pretty Horses, I think as I mentioned recently in one of my videos, is like the perfect novel. But this book is probably his masterpiece. It's very somber, very violent. I mean, 300 pages or so of this. 300 pages. So, but it's a wonderful book by McCarthy, who just died. Him and Kundera died earlier this year.
So recommended for Conan fans?
Conan fans should like this book. They should like it.
It's a very challenging book. It's not an easy read. It's like very challenging.
I haven't.
But it's so
like Apocalypse Now. That movie is a challenge. There's no heroes in it.
Right.
Not at all. I mean,
stylistically challenging.
Yeah.
It's hard.
I didn't have that issue with the way he writes.
All the Pretty Horses is pretty easy stylistically, but that one I think is very challenging.
I know he does. He writes like these long paragraphs with very little periods or commas and such, and then who's talking changes. But José Saramago, for example, from Portugal, in his novels, he's even more challenging. If you read the novel Blindless, for example, you have a whole book basically separated by commas and who's talking, somebody else is talking. But if you read it carefully, you're fine with José Saramago.
You've been toughened up by your Latin American writers.
I guess so. And the other one was a movie. I saw this recently. I don't know how this passed me by. Are you guys familiar with this, High Life?
I've seen it. I really enjoyed it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, then this one
on Netflix.
I don't have Netflix. That's why I bought this. But it's directed by Claire Denis, and actually there's a connection to this because Claire Denis was assistant director to Paris, Texas, before she did her first film in the late 80s called Chocolat, not to be confused with the Juliette Binoche Johnny Depp film. That's a whole different thing. But I liked her movies a lot, and I didn't know she had done this. And Patterson's a fine actor. I don't have any issues with him, as some people do. And Juliette Binoche is also in this film. But when I saw this, I thought of Silent Running, Solaris, and 2001 Space Odyssey. It's all I'll say, Damien, if you haven't seen it, is you have Robert Pattinson and a baby on a ship. And the thing is, where are they going? Why are they there? Where is the crew? And where's the mother to this child? Because I went in watching it just knowing that. I didn't read the back. I just knew I liked Claire Denis. I like Juliette Binoche. And I've seen most of Denis' films. And I've never been disappointed by any of them. And this one did not disappoint me at all. I liked it.
I'll have to look for it. It sounds like something I'd like.
Yeah. So I won't say anything more about it because watching it, because then after I watched the film, I watched the trailer. And the trailer reveals a lot. And I just thought, I wouldn't have known that.
Is Anne Frank on board?
I'm sorry? Is what on board?
Making fun of
We're trying not
myself.
to
I said, is
spoil it
Anne
for
Frank
you.
on board?
She's
I
been
won't
cloned, but she's the baby.
I've ruined that novel. I'm still.
I won't say. So anyway, good time. If you like those films, then you'll like this. And of course, McCarthy forever. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
David, you got something? I know you have more.
I've got 2 piles of books, but I want to go through them quickly. Like it's already been 2.5 hours, so I don't know if the audience is gonna want to sit through this.
Well, who cares
I'm
about
gonna
the
go through
audience?
these.
But if your spouse will get mad or.
He's already texted me like, "What's going on?" Because he's not allowed to let the dogs out, because when he does, the other dogs scratch. But the dogs in here get wild and scratch because they want to go out. So,
David, I have a quick question, David.
Yeah.
I saw you in a stream recently. Because I see you have Phil Collins right there.
I was bathing.
We have not reached that stage in our relationship. I see Collins right there. Collins, and that you had said something about that you had talked about how much you liked him, and I think you commented on somebody's channel, and a bunch of people who like punk music came after you pretty hard.
I'll tell you very quickly. So I follow a variety of people, and they're all very sweet. Like the meddlers, you wouldn't believe how sweet these people are. Like they've got this hard exterior, but they're all so sweet. And there's a couple of punk rockers that I follow, right? And so he was doing a challenge. One of them, show your 5 singles, but they've got to be by the same band or the same person, like the 45 records. And so I wanted to join in, so I showed 5 Phil Collins 45s and they were not happy. They were like, Phil Collins, what the hell? Like they were nice about it, but they were all like outraged because like I said, all of their punk rock records show like disembowelments or whatever, and I'm showing Phil Collins, and they weren't happy.
Okay.
Just want to say hi to one of my favorite people, Bob at Everything Comics, a local Portland area guy
who loves Elektra passionately.
Yes.
But it wasn't like they were attacking me. It was just all kind of in fun. But
okay,
I could tell they're like, why is this guy showing Phil Collins?
Well, I thought they were being serious, that they were really coming after you, and
not really. It was gentle, okay. Gentle kind of fun. Like, hey, this is a punk challenge. Like, what? Yeah. Or maybe like to me, I don't care if you're gonna attack me because I like Phil Collins. That's your problem because I love Phil Collins. I've seen him in concert a few times. You're not gonna, change my mind. Poo poo. All right, so let me go ahead and show the first stack of books, and then we'll switch, and then I have one final stack. All right, so I grabbed a bunch of recent acquisitions, mostly because of the covers. Some of these I've had a while, and I have shown before. So I grabbed this copy of Dandelion Wine because
that's nice. I think I have that copy.
I absolutely love the cover, and I have 2 of them. So Sleepyreader, if you don't have it, I
let the dogs out.
I know they've been cooped up for 2.5 hours.
Poor Cujo.
So, next, I have this. I don't know if it comes through. Who knows who this writer is? But look at that
art.
Look at that
Nancy
art on this.
Picard. Yeah, I'm not familiar with Nancy.
And look at the beautiful art on that cover.
That is cool.
Okay, I showed this recently. I saw this as a kid, and I've been enamored of it ever since. I love that. I just love that.
That's Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Was that the first Star Trek novel that wasn't an adaptation?
Star Wars.
Sorry, first Star Wars.
I have no idea. I don't follow this.
It's the first one I was aware of.
Huh.
Yeah. I mean, I either saw this or had this as a kid, and I just absolutely loved that art. I recently bought this, and I have more coming in the mail. So this is
those are great. Those are really good.
Yeah, gorgeous art, and it goes on to the back.
As a kid, I pondered: was he wearing a light-colored loin cloth, or is he just naked fighting monsters?
I don't know, but he's got a nice ass,
mystery of
nice back. Look at that, and those legs. Wow, they're to die for. Okay, next, the Mutants. Look at this awesome cover.
Wow, I've never seen that.
I think I have that somewhere. I think I
look at it. It's so cool. Okay, moving
right along.
Inspired
Kazuo Azagura.
I bought this one to show
And Jack Kirby.
And Jack Kirby.
an example of horrible art.
Oh my God,
like
that is horrible.
This is like the
Pretty
worst
bad.
book cover I've ever seen, and it's a flip
It would be a Lafferty book.
of that.
Was Lafferty a Texan?
I think I know Lieber, not Lieber.
Because
You know,
Lafferty is known for like tall tales, so I associate that with Texas. But
we don't tell tall tales; we just tell true stories.
oh, okay.
Here's another flip book where I like these
I
covers.
love that one. Gardner Fox, the comic book writer.
Hey,
And
Green
John
Lantern.
Brunner.
John Brunner.
Hey,
Pretty
Brunner.
cool stuff. I've got 3 more in this pile. Again, look at this.
Oh, that's a nice one. I have that too somewhere.
Gorgeous art.
There
Very
will be time.
This is a time travel one, so I've definitely got to read it. And the last 2 kind of are not in the same mold, but I love the simplicity of these covers by Scribner.
Oh, for whom the bell tolls.
Oh, let me
Sun
hold up
also
one at a
rises.
time. I mean, sorry, I'm trying to get.
That's
Look
a
at
wonderful
that.
film with Gary Cooper and Bergman.
Yes.
But look at that beautiful cover.
Have you read all the Hemingway?
I've read this one, and I've read this one.
I'm rereading Death in the Afternoon because I like bullfighting, and I've been reading that.
There, like, look at these. These are gorgeous covers. I need to see if there are more because I've got to get the rest. So that was my first half.
Yeah, I've
somebody
never seen
take
those
over?
covers.
They're gorgeous, those Scribner ones. And I'm wondering if they've done this for other writers in their catalog.
Mhm.
Because, I mean, even the books themselves, the way they feel, they're so nice.
Okay, well, I'll quickly bring us back to comic books for a little bit.
Mhm.
At another sale, I think this goes back to sometime in the summer.
I want it.
Walt Disney Comics.
Ah,
The sticker on it says all Barks. So all Carl Barks in theory, anyway.
and it's a 10 center. I love the 10 centers.
I don't know how old it
The
is.
Graphic Men have a huge collection of these. Whenever I watch them, they have a lot of these books.
And this one says all Barks, and I suspect it's a subscription copy because it has a crease down the middle.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Look at that. I want it. 10 center.
And then I feel like I've seen this cover somewhere else. Maybe it's got reprinted, but I couldn't resist this cover.
Do you know what I want to say?
I think that's Murphy
Anderson.
Anderson.
The new series by Tim. What's that guy's name?
Tom
He
King?
just
Tom King?
King. I think he references that.
Oh, maybe that's it. Maybe that's where he got the idea because the
double.
story splits. The artist, one artist does the stuff on Rand, and one artist does the stuff on Earth.
Yeah.
But I hated that Tom King. That
So
was
did
one.
I. It was his.
Sometimes
dual,
I like Tom King, but I hated that one.
his dual nature.
Tarzan Family.
I'm not a fan of Kubert art.
You aren't. Okay.
Oh, wow,
No.
really?
Nope. He
Unsubscribe.
does some things really well. I think that cover is god awful. I'd want to own it. Look at Tarzan in the corner. Look at him.
This
Look
is
at
not
that.
one of his best covers.
Look
but
at
it's
that.
still-
Slabs.
What
Now he
is
doesn't
Tarzan?
like it.
No, the other one.
Voice
What
Smith.
the hell is? No.
Hey.
I'd love to know what these numbers mean on some old DC covers. K1427. Is this the 1,427th cover? I don't know.
And look at what is that? Is that Korak? Like the main panel?
Yeah,
He just looks.
I think it's Korak. I don't know.
Kaluta did some of the backup
that
stories.
loincloth is going like it looks like hair. On the
We've
other
got
one.
Amazon of Barsoom, John Carter, Carson of Venus, Tarzan, and Korak.
Yeah, not a fan
Well,
of that.
like that.
Wow.
Here's another,
But I want it.
Hubert cover. Not one of his best either, I have to confess. Maybe
Yeah.
he wasn't good at these multi-panel ones.
Looks like he drew that in 10 minutes flat.
Okay.
Well, you'll probably like the Pig Man and
And-
the Donkey Man here.
Ew. These are hilarious. I'd still want to own every one of them.
No, the interiors to Cubert are fantastic.
Yeah. I don't need... Hubert is usually very good. Here's a
No.
better Hubert cover on a giant-sized Tarzan.
Okay, that's way better.
His
Return,
Enemy Ace covers
Return
are
to
great.
Pellucidar, a
Yeah,
book-length feature.
That one's acceptable, right?
Okay.
Not great.
Maybe you prefer John Buscema.
Absolutely. That's 1,000 times better. Look at that.
Even
Even the
in
background.
trouble in certain circles with all this Kubert hatred.
It's
Madness.
not hatred.
Madness.
I said I'd want to own them. But
maybe Paul says the numbers are job number production codes. You can find them inside in the stories as well, especially at Marvel. Okay. Maybe I can learn more about that. This is another good Kubert cover.
That one's good.
The 8-man battles the Stone Sphinx.
Yeah, that one's good. I think another artist could have done it better, but I think that's a good cover.
You could have done it better, maybe.
No. I know you shouldn't criticize if you can't do as well.
No, I'm teasing. We all criticize artists, and most of us aren't good artists.
I'm just not a fan of, like, I've learned to really, really like some of the ones that I've mentioned. My dogs are getting crazy now. But I still haven't fallen in line with Kubert. I don't see it.
One more show and tell, Gore, or are you done?
No, I don't have anything handy except a bunch of stuff all around me, but I'm good. Yeah, I'm good.
Well, let's see a few more of Dave's endless. Whoops. I took Dave out. I didn't mean to do that.
It's because he didn't like Kubert.
Yeah, I'm out.
That was the revenge of Kubert.
Facts.
Okay. So I got a bunch of kind of anthology books. I purchased this recently. And the reason I really like this one is this is called Novel Ideas. And it says 7 classic stories, which were the genesis for some of science fiction's most memorable and award-winning novels and series. So these are the stories that were published, and then they were so popular that they went on to make series. So
yeah, I'm curious who they are.
Yeah.
The first one is, let me open it up, is Orson Scott Card's Ender's Game.
Oh, I didn't know the shorter story of that.
Yeah, and I'm like a huge fan of the Ender's Game series. The next one is Connie Willis, Firewatch. Now, I've read that story, and I've never read the book, but that short story is so good because I'm a big time travel fan. So I don't know if you know Connie Willis and Firewatch.
I've read other Connie Willis. She usually does humorous stories. I assume Firewatch is not humorous.
No, it's not. Should I just say a little bit about it? Do you want me to, or just keep going?
For me, it's fine.
Whatever you feel like.
Yeah. So it's about time travelers who travel to different eras. They're historians, and they're in like college, and part of their thesis is they have to go to time periods and they have to live like natives. And so it's fascinating. And this one is Firewatch. She has to watch. Well, I won't spoil it, but it has to do with war. She's sent to a place where there's war, and there are certain rules for being there. It's a great story. So if you're interested in time travel and people possibly observing, from the future.
I think the novel maybe won a whole bunch of awards.
Yeah, Doomsday Book, to say nothing of the dog. I actually have it and I need to read it. Now, the rest of them in here, I haven't read and I don't know. So they are Air Raid by John Varley, which became Millennium. Lady in the Tower by Anne McCaffrey, which became The Rowan. The Postman, which became The Postman. I think that's super famous.
Right.
Blood Music, Greg Bear. And Beggars in Spain, Nancy Kress. So I'm going to look forward to reading the ones that I have.
This is mostly stuff that came out in the 80s. I recognize those stories from the 80s.
Yeah, I don't recognize most of them. I don't recognize.
Isn't that a cool book? Cool book.
The John Varley story might have been the 70s. John Varley was a great short story writer. His novels are a little less exciting.
So I bought a series of Isaac Asimov edited the great SF stories of each year. I could very quickly show the covers. I bought these mostly because the covers are gorgeous.
I read a lot of those back in the early 80s, and they were fantastic because you're getting. I
just want to dip into all of
literally the best stories of each classic year.
But now that I have some of these, I have to get the rest of them. Like that's number 19, so I need to get the whole series. That's number 17. But look at the gorgeous covers.
Very nice covers, yeah.
All right, and the last set that I'm going to show you is a horror set, and it's the same thing.
I think Paulo needs to get this series, although maybe he'd rather have it in Portuguese.
Either way. So this is another.
Hey, Travis, we mentioned Travis and his hovering drone.
Comics with Bueller. Yeah, we were talking about you earlier. Were your ears red? All right, 4 more. So this is a series. All of these books are pretty much by Daw, the publisher. And so they started out, I'm semi-collecting this series. This is number 250, the year's best horror stories series.
So you have to get every one of those Daw numbered books.
Yeah, those are nice. I have some of those.
A lot of them are fantasy, so I don't want them. Now, this is one that I made a huge mistake, and I'm going to tell you why. So all of them have full cover art. And then
are they edited by Carl Edward Wagner? Yeah.
Are they what?
Carl Edward Wagner. He's kind of a cult author.
Yep, they all are.
I remember him as an editor.
So I bought this one, and then immediately afterwards, they put up the same book, and it had full cover. This picture, which is amazing, but it was like this, full cover. And I was so bummed. And that one, someone snatched it up. But I was like, why did you give me this horrible one first? So it was like that. Like, do you see how a lot of them they have 2 versions out. It'll be this same picture, but in that format.
Weird.
But I prefer it. Like, look at this cool art on this. I don't want it reduced like that. Like, look at this one. I guess this egghead guy is like a recurring horror icon for them. So that was it. Those were my sci-fi and horror kind of paper I wanted to show. And that's it. Everything that I wanted to show, I showed.
Well, I think we should probably end there because it's been almost 3 hours.
3 hours, you chatterbox.
I can't imagine anyone watching the whole thing through from repeat. But anyway,
they're gonna miss my books at the end.
Thank you very much. But it was a great time. I was really glad to have both of you on. Lots of great commenters. I think it would take me too long to scroll back through, but
I've got
Paulo and everyone else. Thank you for commenting. And we should do this again sometime.
Yeah.
Bye, everybody.
So goodbye, everyone. I will put links below for both Gore and Dutiful Dave, Dubious Dave, and there are also links to some other channels that were put in the comments that you can look for.
Okay, bye.
Dr. Zhivago, everyone. Watch Dr. Zhivago. Bye-bye.
It's not closed.
Okay, I've now